Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, to Generations Behind, episode 33. I'm one of your hosts, Craig of Craig's Game Room. To the side of me, the man with the luscious locks, Mr. Zach Daily Beating. Zach, how are you today?
I'm doing well. I woke up. I had two cheese sticks and a handful of blueberries for breakfast, as well as one espresso shot with no milk because we had no milk left. So
Was
really
that
just scraping
painful?
by today. It wasn't too bad. I don't taste the bitterness of it anymore, so it just wasn't fun. It was just a sad drink. Um,
Are you a black coffee person? I'm not strong enough
normally
for
I'm a
that.
normally I'm a best part of waking up, Folgers in your cup, but just a pot of black coffee straight. But we're out of that, so I had to use some of my roommates' Nespresso pods. So it was a very sad morning, honestly. But
Tyler,
the cheese was good.
the cheese was good. What kind of cheese was it?
Pepper jack.
Pepper jack.
It's the best kind of cheese.
I don't know if I've ever met a man that chooses pepper jack cheese for his cheese stick flavor variety, but I'm not going to judge.
Hey, I just grabbed what was in the fridge.
Below us, the luscious slut, the man who beat this game 10 minutes ago that we're talking about today, Mr. Tyler Haight, Kills Reaper, Game Collecting Reaper. Tyler, how the hell are you?
Doing pretty good. Just got back from camping. My camping was camping during the day, playing Fire Emblem at night.
Hell yeah.
That was
What a
my
vibe.
trip. Yeah, it was kind of crazy last night. A little story time. Just chilling in the tent, playing Fire Emblem. I hear a siren, and then I see like red flashing lights. Ambulance just comes right down to the tent site right by me. That was pretty interesting. I don't know what happened, but
They're
I
trying
was
to save some of your fallen
airplane.
recruits in
Yeah,
in Sacred Stones.
well, I had no fallen recruits. Thank God to rewind. But
Oh, so you played on Switch, okay.
You're right. I
yeah,
didn't make that move actually.
exactly.
Oh, my
I
finger
abused
slipped.
it.
I didn't mean to attack.
I abused the shit out of that on Switch, man. But anyway,
Can I tell
um,
a real quick aside? I'm sorry, real quick. I was
yeah.
playing Picross last night with Bird Dog, and I did actually have a misclick on Picross, and I rewinded, and he screamed. He screamed. He freaked out. He was like, "What are you doing?" Like he got really upset. I was like, "Whoa, it's okay. It's okay. I just made a mistake." Anyway, back to you, Tyler.
I mean, yeah. That's pretty much what I did. And yeah, came home this morning, and yeah, here we are,
Here we are, ready
working
to
to the
talk
boys
about
again.
Fire Emblem, the Sacred Stones, FE8. A lot of people's favorite Fire Emblem. I know it's one of your favorites, Zach. You've talked about it many times over the year and few months we've been doing this show. It's been on my list for a very long time, so I was excited to finally be able to play through it. Excited to talk about it with you guys. And I don't know, I'm kind of jealous of Tyler. I feel like playing Fire Emblem, by fireside just feels like such a vibe.
Yeah, last night it was by a bonfire, so had a
Hell
big
yeah.
bonfire with fireworks, and I was just there in my camping chair playing fire.
True. Yes, we were recording this after the 4th of July. I'm so over it. I'm so over the fireworks. People are setting off fireworks in my neighborhood July 5th at like 1 in the afternoon. It's like it just wouldn't fucking end, and I'm so over it. My poor dog has been on the verge of a heart attack for like 3 weeks because my neighborhood has been doing it since like the end of of June and way before that. So I'm just over the fireworks.
Critical hit, super effective.
Pretty much. Tired of it, but it's totally unrelated. Before I forget, this guy doesn't need my shout out. I want to give a shout out to somebody I found while doom scrolling on TikTok the other day. Coolest guy in the world dropped, guys. Coolest man to ever exist has dropped. His name is
Summoning
Marshall.
salt?
No, cooler than Summoning Saw. His name is
Oh
Marshall with
wow.
two L's. His name is Marshall.travels on TikTok. He has 38,000 followers, so he's not super famous, but he has a following. His whole shtick is that he travels the world and takes photographs of birds because he wants to take a photograph of every bird that's ever existed. That's
Hell yeah.
currently not extinct, but he does it like Pokedex entries. So he like films himself taking action shots of birds and then like makes Pokedex entries of these birds. It's
That's
the
Like
sickest
super
shit I've
cool.
ever seen. I'm like, man, and I'm here playing video games. I could be out in the wild hunting birds for my Pokedex. It's the coolest
That's
shit I've ever
awesome.
seen.
he's like Robin, the orange bellied bird or some shit like that.
Dude, it's so fun. I found this guy and I literally watched him for like an hour. I was like, oh my god. I'm like, he is living. The masculine urge to photograph every bird is real. So I had to give him a shout out. I thought that was really cool. Every once in a while, you get rewarded for doom scrolling on TikTok and YouTube.
My nephew is 9, and his current, 9-year-old boy fixation is birds. But he's told us on several occasions that his dream is to see a pigeon in real life. I'm like, hey pal, those aren't super notable. Like those are just gonna be there. But they don't. I guess they don't have pigeons in the town he lives in.
How do you not have pigeons?
That he's seen. At least not that he's seen. So I sent him a pigeon that was just on the street one time, and I sent it to my sister-in-law who showed it to him, of course. And then he was like super excited. He's like, I can't wait to see a pigeon one day. I'm like, okay, pal, you'll see one. Don't worry. Like it'll show up.
Like one day you're gonna get real fucking tired of him shitting on your lawn.
Yeah, be pretty normal.
Dude, I love kid brain. Just imagine being excited for anything like that at this point in our lives.
I love it, and it's annoying. This guy he kid-splained Minecraft to me. I tried to explain how to play Minecraft since before he was born. He's like, no, you're not doing it right. You gotta do it like this. I'm like, okay, man, chill out. Like, I know how to play Minecraft, but.
That's I remember many years ago now, when I still lived in Arizona, it was my neighbor's kid. He was really into Pokemon, so I was like, yeah, we'll play Pokemon cards with him or whatever, make him happy one day. And he just starts whipping stuff out, and I'm like, oh, you can't do that yet. And he's like, yeah, I can. I have Gyarados, so I could use him. I'm like, sure. That's fine. Whatever, I'll let you have this.
Yep.
Good times. I love stupid kids. They're just so innocent. They don't understand anything, and they're way happier than I'll ever be in my adult life. So I gotta respect it.
The more information you get, the sadder you become.
I know. That's why I think that the stupidest people are the happiest. Sometimes I wish I was an idiot, and that's how I know I'm not dumb is because I'm depressed. Just all the time. There's too much to think about. We have one late audience write-in, ladies and gentlemen. Wanted to give it to him because we love our boy X Button Gaming. And he wrote into the last episode after we already recorded it. So I thought I'd sneak it into the beginning of this episode so he could still let out his word about GameCube games he wants to see on Nintendo GameCube Online. Nintendo. He said, whoa, the rarest. What up, guys? Cross-Button Gaming here. One of my absolute favorite GameCube games was Phantasy Star Online. It was a Dreamcast game first, but the GameCube version added 4-player local co-op, and my friends and I played it all the time when we were kids. It's such a fun game with so much to do. Being able to play multiplayer again would be so cool. I would love to see Sega go the extra mile and revitalize the actual online mode that I never got to experience, but I'll be happy just to get the game at all. Would also love to see the Time Splitters games as well. And I'm super excited to see Pokemon XD coming as one of my favorite Pokemon games. So freaking underrated.
Pokemon XD is good.
Pokemon XD is supposedly good. I'll find out when it comes.
XD's fun.
I'm gonna try to power through, I think, Coliseum and XD when they come to the online, because, I don't know.
You should do it. Me and Zach are going to do a Coliseum. We're going to go through that 300 battle tower thing.
Wow, that sounds terrible.
I'm not going to lose a single match because I'll have save states.
Yeah. Also, 300 matches in that game must be about 300 hours of how fucking slow the combat animations are.
No,
so.
I think it's actually 100. It's actually 100, I think. But
they're slow, Tyler. That's why I didn't finish it. That's why I dropped the game. I was like, I can't do this every time. Watching Espeon take 5 minutes to shoot his psychic beam.
Zach and I are going to speedrun it. We're going to see who can get there first. One stream, one go. Go.
1 6 hour
It's going to be a world record live stream. We also had a write-in from Patrick today. Patrick said he is still waiting on the Final Fantasy episode, game-centric or series-centric, and Tyler to invite me to play Mario Kart World with you guys one night. Tyler, why are you leaving Patrick out of the loop? Poor guy just wants to play some Mario Kart.
Well, next time we play, I'll invite him. I'll have him join our game chat.
There you go.
I think to make everyone the happiest, just, check as many boxes as possible at once. Our Final Fantasy centered episode should just be Final Fantasy VII Remake.
It's old enough. It's retro.
Just glaze it up the whole time. That's the whole episode.
But I do like that idea. Doing like not like a game centric episode, but like a series centric. I think that'd be fun. Like if we talked about just like the Final Fantasy series in general, and like what we played, what we liked. I think that'd be a good idea for a series.
Collaborate and see which games in the series, if we combine our experiences together, which ones have we played and which ones have not played. And once we check off every box by at least one person, we should do the episode.
That'd be good. My Final Fantasy experience is very front loaded because I've played 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7 are the ones that I've beaten. So
I got 8. I got 8. I got 8, 15, 16, and I played like 50 hours of 14.
There you go. Tyler,
Yeah,
which
1,
Final
7, and
Fantasies?
16, bro.
Yeah, I want to play through 5 this year because that's the only Pixel remaster I don't have the Platinum Trophy for, so I think that'd be a good one. I'm kind of annoyed at myself for skipping it, actually. Like, I went 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I didn't play any for a while, and then when I went back, I went and played 6 instead of 5, like a chump. So, shouldn't have done that. Would have been nicer to have them all, like, in row on my trophy list, because now they're going to be separated forever. But I have 1, 2, 3, and 4 right next to each other. Could have been very satisfying.
Could have been.
Originally, I wanted to do, like, Final Fantasy 1 through 10 all in a row, but, the reason I did is because after 4 I was like, I need a break from this already, so that's why that ended. I even like started writing like a script for like a YouTube video. I was going to document the whole thing, and I was like, I just can't do this, and I deleted it. So
that'd be a cool series for someone to start Final Fantasy, never play any of the games, and then play all the mainline numbered entries 1 to 16. Just like marathon it.
I watched or started a video that I haven't finished yet.
Take just as long as 300 Battle Tower in Pokemon Coliseum.
Probably just as close. Yeah.
Pretty close. Yeah, I can't remember the guy's name, but I started watching a YouTube video about a guy that played every Final Fantasy game and ranked them in order, including all the spin-offs, and it's like a 6-hour video. It's a very good watch. I was watching that while I played a game about digging a hole a few weeks ago, so that was a good time. Yeah. That might be game of the year so far, guys. I can't lie. Game about digging a hole.
It's pretty high up there.
If anything deserves $80, it's not Mario Kart World. It's game about digging a hole.
That game is above Monster Hunter Wilds on my top 10 list so far. So.
Now, does that say more about a game about digging a hole or more about Monster Hunter Wilds?
I think the answer lies somewhere in between both of those things.
Damn. I know, because I still kind of want to try Wilds, but hasn't really been on sale yet, and I don't know if I'm going to like it, so we're going to keep holding off for now. Wait for that Christmas sale.
Yep.
Well, Tyler, I know you've been a busy boy lately, but I need to know, what have you been playing?
Fire Emblem and the Sacred Stones. That is all.
And that is all, so we will wait on you.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I was playing Mario Kart with you guys a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah, not much more to add on Mario Kart. I don't think we've talked that game to death on this not modern gaming show. So
generations ahead.
Generations ahead. We're in the future, baby.
Like every 15 episodes, we just only talk about modern stuff.
Or that'd be a great April Fool's episode if we started talking about games that don't exist yet.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
Just make shit up. Talk about Elder Scrolls 6. We'll talk about, Zelda Rebirth of the Kingdom, whatever. Just start making up games and just with full sincerity act like they're real.
Silksong won't be out by then, so we could do that too.
Roasted. Man, that would be a good idea. I think we need to keep that in the back pocket for April Fools next year. That'd be a really good one.
But also, 5 really good.
But also, we keep our other idea that it's just 3 other people that aren't us doing the episode.
That's what it could be. 3 other people just talking about games that don't exist.
Yeah, we'll call it Generations Ahead. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Who do we get, though? That's the question. Like, Christian is the obvious pick since he's the unofficial 4th chair of this show.
We get Christian, X Button Gaming,
and maybe Brendan.
Brendan there probably.
There we go. I think that'd be a good mix to replace us all. That'd be fun.
Oh man.
When this inevitably happens, it's going to be very funny.
Yeah.
Zach, what have you been playing?
Kind of just a hodgepodge. I think I'm in that like awaiting new game period where I'm just really looking forward to playing Donkey Kong Bonanza. So I'm just playing like 15 minutes of like 10 different games when I get bored. So I finally checked off. I got all of the 3-star mirror mode Grand Prix on
Damn.
Mario Kart World. So I was happy about that. I still have a couple knockout tours left.
That's tough.
Still plugging through Fast Fusion. I did play a little bit of Sacred Stones. I didn't play the whole game because I played it several times. So I just played through Chapter 8. And then just kind of messing around with the NSO. I'm grinding out some Soul Calibur stuff, trying to unlock all the weapons for Link. I'm having a lot of fun with that, actually. That game's very goofy. And I'm just mainly surviving off of throwing the enemies out of the ring because I'm not good at the game. So I just run to the back and then I grab them and throw them off and like one-shot them, and that's all I do.
Is that going to be a strategy when we play each other again?
I don't know. We'll have to see. If you see me backing up, don't follow me. That's all I'll say. Yeah, I'm trying to unlock all of Link's costumes and all of his weapons just to like get a sense of completionist-y thing in me. I did finish the Weapon Master mode. That was pretty fun. Despite the story being complete incoherent nonsense, it makes no sense at all.
Yeah, it's really not even a story. It's just kind of an excuse to unlock weapons.
Well, that's the main thing. What it is, but it does. When you start a new chapter, it gives you like a text, like a wall of text of story with characters that aren't in the game. They're just like made up people, and it just tells you something. And I'm like, I don't know who this is. I can't connect the face to the name because it's just a random name. And they're like, yeah, you're chasing after the Soul Edge or Soul Blade, whatever it's called. And then you fight the like Satan or whatever at the end, and you win. And then it was it's very strange.
Good
but
stuff.
It's fun. It's a fun game.
So you're a Link main now in Soul Calibur officially?
Yes, I want to mess around with other characters, but I thought it would just be most fun for me as a Nintendo noob to play as Link, and it's working.
Gotta be playing that top tier Cassandra.
I might play some Nightmare after this because I think he's like the Soul Calibur main character. So I might try him.
Soul Calibur is just a very great series. I feel like it's very underrated. I haven't played all the games, but every time I have played them, I've always had a real good time. Like, I enjoyed... I think it was 5 was the one with Mr. Rivia from the Witcher series, right? Or is that 4?
Gerald of the River. That's the last one.
That's his legal name, Gerald River.
Yeah, I can't believe it's Soul Calibur 1 or Soul Calibur 2. Soul Calibur 1 is the second highest rated game of all time on Metacritic.
Yes, it is.
Has a 98.
Yeah, so that was 6.
Bonkers.
6 was the newest one.
Was it 6? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, the original Soul Calibur on Dreamcast is incredible. I played a lot of it actually earlier this year when I started going heavy on my Dreamcast collecting. Because I had played it when I was younger, but not as much as 2. And I think 1 is honestly just as good as 2. It looks just as good, which is the crazy part. It's just one of the best looking games ever first time period.
Yep. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm glad I'm giving it a go. I had not played it since I was a child, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was probably one of my most played games as a kid was Soul Calibur 2. And when I was a kid, I pretty much only played as Link for a very, very long time just because I thought it was cool that he was there. But then I started playing all the different characters, like Volvo, that fucking weirdo, and
he kind of runs at does this when he walks at you. It's really funny.
The weirdest fucking character with his like kind of like tri-spears.
When Cassandra does show up, I do lock in. I lean forward. I'm like, this is Craig training.
Craig training. Never forget. Totally undefeated. So far, the Soul Calibur champion of the friend group. I have not lost. So, whoever wants to challenge me. I'm not good at video games, so I gotta be braggadocious about the one game that I'm good at.
Setting it wasn't like you won like 3 times. It was you won like 18 times.
Yeah, I was 18-0, switching between you two and Christian.
I got so close, and I died. I was like, I'm done.
The only video screen recording on my Switch, by the way, Tyler, is the one where I got a perfect KO on you. It's the only video I have saved on my Switch. Oh, that was good. So for me, obviously, play Sacred Stones. We will talk about that. But now I've been on a big Fire Emblem kick. So I've been playing through Fire Emblem 7, the Blazing Blade? Is that the official subtitle? Yes, the Blazing Blade.
Yeah.
I always
Yeah.
mix it up with the Binding Blade, the one before it.
Yes, I think in the West it's just called Fire Emblem, right?
Yeah.
And
But
then
I
in
think actually the reason I knew it was Blazing Blade a while back was because I think in Fire Emblem Heroes they actually call it the Blazing Blade in the mobile game.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
which I was unhealthily addicted to when that game come out. So, oh, my AVG internet security is trying to get me to restart my PC right now. That would not be good. Let's hold off on that. So yeah, I've been playing Fire Emblem 7, having a good time. The beginning with the Lyn chapters is definitely kind of a slog, but you could tell it was supposed to be like, oh, this is your first Fire Emblem, probably. We're going to assume that, and you're going to learn everything, whether you want to learn it or not. So,
Yeah, I wish there was a toggle just like, yes, I've played this game before.
because that's what Sacred
Movies-
Stones does. Sacred Stones, the easy and normal mode are the same, except easy has tutorials.
Yep.
So I've been enjoying that. I think that I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of like bottlenecky maps in the Game Boy Advance games where it's like you're just kind of funneling all your characters down a one tile hallway, and that drives me kind of crazy. I feel like there's a lot of those in Sacred Stones and this, so that's been driving me a little crazy. But other than that, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the story of 7. It's the characters are fun and interesting. I love Hector. Hector is like instantly one of my favorite lords in the entire series. He's a total asshole, and I think it's hilarious. He's very sarcastic and rude to everybody. Like, he doesn't act like a lord, and that makes him fun. And everyone's like telling him like, Hector, like, calm the fuck down. Like, talk to these people with some respect. And he's like, oh. And you like, he has like that just kind of like big like meathead vibe, and it's a good time. I like Hector a lot. Lyn is also just one of the best designed characters in the series. And then Eliwood, he's all right. He's a little bit too plain Jane, like just like, oh, I'm the hero, but there's nothing wrong with him.
He's generic lord for sure.
But I'm definitely starting to get like attached to my team in this game already. Like once I get around like halfway through a Fire Emblem game, like I am with this one, I'm on chapter I think 19 or 20 now. I start to get really attached, and I hate when I get new recruits because even if they're good, I'm like, oh, I've been working with my boy Dorcas since day one. I don't want to get rid of Dorcas.
There's something unsatisfying in a Fire Emblem game when you have one character you've raised up from like 0 to hero, and then like you get to a chapter late game and they just give you like an equivalent and even sometimes better character.
And you're like, oh.
Like, I don't want to use him. I just got this guy up here. Yeah.
I definitely use characters that suck in these games sometimes just because I like the characters. I think
that's the way to go.
I feel like you can beat Fire Emblem with any loadout that you want. You just make it easier or harder for yourself. But I think that any loadout is possible, technically. And then I also started Fire Emblem Engage, which I'm not nearly as far in. I'm about, I think, 4, maybe 5 hours in. I'm only on, like, maybe chapter 6 or 7.
You never played the one yet?
No, I have not. I actually didn't even buy it at launch. I got it, like, last year. Because at the time, I don't know what it was. Just everything about the game. Like, I hated the main character, the way they look so much that it made me not want to play it, which is silly. It's goofy, but and at the time I just wasn't in the mood for a Fire Emblem game. I got to be in the mood for Fire Emblem just because how much brain power it takes. Because I like to play games and kind of turn my brain off and relax most of the time. In Fire Emblem, you have to be attentive. You got to think about all your decisions and all that. Obviously, nothing wrong with that because it's a great time and I'm enjoying it a lot. But Fire Emblem Engage, great art style in my opinion, great music. The first 2 maps I was like, and then after you get past the first 2, because usually they're not that great, I actually started to like the map design pretty much right off the bat. Pretty good right away. I think pretty early on there's a fairly, not challenging, but a map with like a lot of enemies in a castle, and you get multiple paths, treasure chests, all that stuff. It's just like kind of all the stuff that all the other games tutorialize, but very early on, and I enjoyed that a lot because I was like, oh, feels like this is more of a game for people that have played the series opposed to trying to get new people in, and I kind of liked that. And I think it's okay to have that when you're like 20 games into a series. So, but I'm liking it so far. I've seen a lot of hate for the art style of this game. I actually really like the art style, and a lot of the character designs are really cool and memorable. But I'm also just a fan of the anime aesthetic as a weeaboo myself. So, The writing is trash, though. I was talking to Zach about this a lot. It's some of the corniest, worst writing I think I've ever seen in anything. And Zach keeps telling me that it only gets worse, so I cannot
Are you
wait.
counting? Are you counting how many times they say Divine Dragon?
I'm not, but I probably should.
It's pretty bad.
Divine
It's pretty bad.
Dragon. The next sentence is like, we gotta go get the Divine Dragon.
There's
And
a
you gotta come with
there's-
us. You're the Divine Dragon. Like,
there's a complaint amongst like the Fire Emblem core fan base of them leaning more and more into protagonist worship, about how you're always the protagonist. It's not really a self insert, but like the main character is like the God King, and they're like nothing can do wrong, and then blah blah. And then in this game, you're really the Divine Dragon. Everyone's like worshiping you, like bowing down to you every time you show up. It's like it's a little much.
That's fair.
But
Divine Dragon.
Tyler, have you played Engage? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I did.
Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it. That was good. I like the whole ring system and how you're able to have all the. It was like a big fan service game essentially.
Yeah, I'm
Fan
digging
service
that. I like how deep it goes because, correct me if I'm wrong since I haven't really experimented with it yet, but you could pretty much give anybody any ring too, right? So you're kind of like combining classes, and I think that's a really cool mechanic. I'm super down to experiment. I could see how, like when I saw your save time when you played some DLC last night, how you had over 100 hours. I could see how you could easily sink that much time into this game with all the customization in it. So.
Yep, and it's cool. I don't know if you've messed with the. It's like you have like the main emblem rings with like the main characters, but there's also like all the sub characters. Like,
Yeah,
in the whole
so I got a
series.
couple of those because I had those weird gem things and I was just spending them to see who I would get. So
Yes, that's a fun like little like encyclopedia of characters in the series you can collect. There's good things about Engage, but yeah, the writing extremely corny. And personally, I don't mind the art style. The art style is appealing to me. It's lots of bright colors and it's fun to look at. Some of the characters are extremely over designed. like they're like it's like, okay, just put the pen down. You got a character, you got the design. Like you don't need to keep adding things onto them. It's a little too much now.
apparently, from what I saw online, and maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess the art style and everything. It was somebody who does like VTuber designs or something. So I guess that kind of explains it.
I do remember hearing that. I never looked into that. I did hear that. I don't know if that's actually the case or not, but
But
I
it
kinda
checks
get
out
the
if it's
vibe for
true.
sure. Checks out 100%. It checks out 100%.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask Tyler his history with the Fire Emblem series, but we'll wait till we get there. We don't need to get ahead. And we can save more Fire Emblem talk for later. But next game I played a little bit of Pokemon Pinball Ruby and Sapphire.
Fucking love that game.
I know you love it. That's part of why I wanted to bring it up. It's a fun little like wind down game for the night. Like my wind down games lately have either been this or Animal Crossing New Horizons. So I've been playing both of those a little bit each night, or kind of like swapping between the two. Pokemon Pinball Ruby and Sapphire I can't imagine enjoying it enough to complete the Pokedex because there's only 2 pinball boards and it's the same thing over and over again. But if you like pinball, it's pinball. So.
How far did you get?
Put that in the back of the box.
It's pinball.
How far did you get in like a run?
Not very far. I think I've gotten like maybe 3 or 4 mods in one run. And then I got to the thing where you can get Dusclops, and I don't know what I was doing wrong. I kept smacking those Duskulls, and Dusclops just did not appear. So I don't know what I did wrong.
So you gotta catch 3 Pokemon. Well, you gotta get 3 Pokemon. Like an evolution counts as getting one. And then you get the Dusclops stage on the Ruby board. Right?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
And then once you get another 3, you go to Groudon. Then you got to get another 3, and then you go back to Dusclops. So you got to get another 3, and then you go to Groudon again. That's when you catch him. Then you got to do another 3, and it's Dusclops. Another 3, and it's Rayquaza. Another 3, and it's Dusclops. Another 3, and then you catch Rayquaza. That's how it works.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna play this game anymore.
Once you like really get it going, it's not that bad.
I guess, but it takes so long just to get one Pokemon.
And then sometimes if you like play the real right, you could just go right to the like Rayquaza stage or the Groudon stage, depending on
Interesting.
what
Okay.
you're at.
Yeah, I mean,
I watched Vinny
go ahead.
sent me a video. It was like this one guy who was like trying to learn about the Pinball Ruby and Sapphire, because if you notice on the Ruby board, there's a Cyndaquil, a Totodile,
Mm-hmm.
Chikorita, and an Aerodactyl that comes and drops off the egg.
Mm-hmm.
There is a way to catch those Pokemon, but
Yes.
like,
I've watched that same video.
oh, you did? How it's
Yeah,
only like
it's great.
e-reader cards and shit. Dude, that shit was interesting. I was like, damn, I kind of want to do that.
It's very
Then I'm like,
interesting.
the Pokédex, like that's gonna take a long time, but
Yeah, but it is a good time, you know. So it's pinball, so it's like if you like pinball, you'll have a good time. But I don't know if I want to play pinball for 200 hours to get all of the different Pokemon too. So, and it kind of sucks knowing that you can't complete the game unless you have a physical copy and e-reader cards. So, because I'm playing it on the good old 3DS. So, but yeah, it's a great video. Everyone should watch it. Whatever it's called, look up Pokemon Pinball Ruby Sapphire. You'll probably find something about it.
yeah,
It's a great time.
the most recent because nobody's fucking talking about that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that game's had a weird resurgence lately in general too. Like I've been seeing like a lot of YouTube shorts and stuff on it. For some reason, people are fucking with Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire Pinball right now.
I think his channel is G Medley.
G Medley.
Sounds familiar.
Check him out.
Look it up.
And if it's the wrong guy, watch him anyway. Give him.
Yeah.
Why not? He probably
Yeah.
probably makes good
Generations
content.
Behind sent me. What?
Who the fuck?
And when you're there, ask him if he wants to do our April Fool's episode.
There we go. Just keep filling chairs. We'll have like 50 people on one episode talking over each other. And the last game, that's not true. 2 more games. Sorry, I'm talking for a long time. So I got a little bit deep back into Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've just been itching to play Animal Crossing a lot lately. And even though New Horizons is not my favorite, I'd rather play the GameCube one just for the sake of portability. And because I have a Switch 2 and I want to be playing my Switch 2, I decided to go New Horizons. And I played it a decent amount when it came out back in the day in 2020. But I never got super duper into Animal Crossing New Horizons like everyone else did. Like, I have friends that have hundreds, thousands of hours into this game. And I don't even know if I ever hit the 100-hour mark, so I wanted to give it a good old college try to complete the museum, build up a nice actual town with, like, paths and actual have, like, some sort of structure to the way that I have all the buildings set up and all that. So I'm hoping I could get that done, hoping I could stay motivated long enough to do that. But another good wind-down game to play at the end of the night. That reminds me, we have to end this podcast in at least an hour and 52 minutes so I can buy my turnips today. So we're on a time limit, boys. But I'm enjoying it. It's a good time. I am a little worried because people, saying how Nintendo's a bit stricter about breaking people's Switch 2s if you get reported for stuff online. So I'm going to make sure not to play online with anyone random at any point because my town's name is Butt Stuff. And I think that could be grounds for banning.
In my opinion, they have a system in New Horizons that like auto doesn't let you make certain town names. If you get through that, I think it's fair game.
So yeah, Butt Stuff went through. One word.
That's fine. They're into butt stuff. That's fair.
Is confirmed. Shigeru Miyamoto's into butt play.
Okay, let's continue. Moving on.
Moving on. Last thing I've played a little bit of is some Mario Strikers because they added that to the Nintendo Switch 2 online GameCube expansion. Game's hard as dick, but it is very fun. I didn't play the tutorial at all. I just went straight into it, so it took me a little bit to even figure out what I was doing. But once I realized how to do kind of like the little super kicks, I started doing better. I chose Peach just because Peach is my girl. First person I went up against was Daisy. Whooped Daisy's ass. Fucking folded her like a goddamn chair. It was nothing. Next match I played Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong beats me like 7-2, and I was like, oh, I'm like this is serious now, huh? So I definitely got to practice a bit more. Maybe make a save state right before I go into a match. Who knows? But I'm enjoying it. The style of the game is very funny. I kind of wish that there was. I know this is nitpicky, but I wish there was a little bit more to like the animations and the intros for the characters, just because they seem to be the same every time. So it'd be nice if there was a little bit of variety, even if there's like 2 or 3 instead of just 1. But the style of the game is fun. It's very frantic. I can see this being very fun multiplayer, so I'd love to play it online with you guys at some point. But yeah, Mario Striker's pretty dang cool. Never played it before. So that was the first time I ever booted it up was on the 4th of July for a little while.
Yeah, I played a lot in the GameCube. I have quote unquote completed that game. I've done all the cups in the past. It
Is it
does get
hard?
very it gets pretty hard, especially on the super cups. But it's a fun time. I like
Is
the
there
game a
any
lot. It's very
unlockable
hectic.
characters?
There's one unlockable character in the GameCube version, and the Wii version has several. They didn't really add that in the GameCube version yet, but there is one unlockable character.
Is the Wii version the same game but just kind of like extra content, or is it a different game?
There's new mechanics. The Wii version has it adds motion control, so like when there's a super kick,
Hmm.
um,
Got a
you when they
waggle.
use a super kick, yeah, when they use a super kick against you, it'll enter like a first person view of the goalie, and you have to like catch the balls. It'll like on your screen like a ball will show up. You have to move the mouse there, like hit A and catch it, and like stop the super kicks. So that's fun.
Interesting.
But the rest of the game is still Mario Strikers.
Fair enough.
So
Fair enough. Tyler, it's time for recent video game pickups. I know you have a shit ton.
You
Would you
sure
prefer
you
to
wanna
go
start
first or
with me?
last? Well, you could go
I'll go
last. You
last.
could be the finale.
Yeah.
Zach, I don't know if you have anything. I only have one thing, so I think I could knock myself out real quick. If
I've
y'all
got one
don't
and a half.
mind. Oh, you could go
I've got
first.
one and a
Then.
half.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So the half is I a couple years ago I bought this system, the Playdate, and I enjoyed playing through all of it. About a month ago they added season 2.
Oh,
So the way that seasons work on Playdate is you buy a season, or the first season comes with the system, and every week new games automatically download to the system. So you just have you check in on it every week, you have a new game, it like pops up automatically, you play the new game. So season 2 came out a month ago, like when the Switch 2 came out. So obviously I didn't have time to play it, but I did buy season 2. So I'm wanting to play some crank games here.
oh hell yeah.
That's my half pickup. Is I'm gonna get back into the Playdate.
Good shit.
But my real pickup, I went and made a special trip for this episode, and I decided to go to Found It and purchase Fire Emblem Sacred Stones
Hey, look
complete
at that.
box.
That's exciting.
They had this sitting on their shelf for a while, and I knew it was there, so I just decided, why not just go and grab it in honor of the episode? Because it's one of my favorite Game Boy Advance games, and I still have the cartridge for it, but the box was disposed of decades ago. So I decided to get a complete in box version for the
Very
shelf.
exciting. There's nothing cooler than Game Boy Advance complete in box games. I'm kind of convinced of that. I think that is
Yep.
they're the best, and I
Let's
love
start
the
collecting these.
art on Sacred Stones as well. That's great box art.
Yeah, and it was kind of annoying. This is a complete in box copy, and I asked them like, "Can I just buy the box and manual and just leave the card? I don't need the cartridge." And
Yeah.
they're like, "No." And I'm like, "What if I like buy it and then just like sell it back to you like immediately?"
Did
Like,
you
would
do that?
accept? No, I didn't. But I'll just go eventually and trade the cartridge in because I already have the cartridge.
That's fair.
But I did check the saves in the cartridge, and the person who played this game before me did have 2 completed save files. So I was like, "Let's go! Good job,
So they're real ones. Look at that.
the real one."
I know. I've sold off pretty much all of my Game Boy Advance games many years ago when I had to, but I think I only kept actually the only 2 North American Game Boy Advance games I kept were Fire Emblem 7 and Sacred Stones. So I do still
nice.
have those. But my one pickup, not even a game, and you all might have seen a short on this already, but I finally got my Jill statue in. Very, very excited about that. I fucking blow smoke up Valhalla's ass all the time on this show, and for good reason. It's the best visual novel ever made. So I was very excited to have that. It's a very nice statue. It wasn't that expensive, really. It was mostly just expensive because of the shipping. It was like $25 to $30 to ship it. But the statue stuff was only like $40, so very happy to own that. There's a decent amount of Valhalla merch now over the years because it's a very small niche but aggressive and loving fan base. So, but as far as I know, that's the first actual figurine they've made of her that's not like a little Nendroid or anything. So happy to have my Jill Stingray on the shelf next to my Aerith statue. So now I just need to get a really nice Lucina, and I already have fucking 20 cat statues, so I could have all of my favorite video game girls hanging out together on the shelf.
Nice.
Like a real man.
Like a real man. It's alright, my wife has about 50 other of her anime husbands on the shelf below it, so fair is fair. Alright, Tyler. What the fuck you got? Mr.
What's too many
Moneybags?
Last weekend, bought quite a bit of stuff. First I'm gonna show this mouse pad because I didn't use it yet, and I really like how it looks. So I got this mouse pad.
Hell yeah.
Little Closet One, little Ray Ray.
Lil Ray
So I
Ray.
got that, and then also once I'm done wrapping this back up, gotta give me a minute because this thing's big as fuck. All right, that's done.
There you go.
That right there.
There you go.
All right, picked up. This looked interesting. Mighty Fight Federation on the Switch. It's like a 3D arena
Oh,
brawler, but it has like
weird.
ukulele, toe jam, and Earl.
I've never seen that. That's bizarre.
Yeah, I seen the cover. I was like, "The hell?"
Is
And
that a real game?
yeah,
It
like a
looks
3D
fake. That's so funny.
it's a 3D brawler with ukulele, the River City people, toe jam, and Earl, um, and the chick from Bloodstain and like other people.
What the? So it's like an indie fighter, but with a
Yeah,
dormant
no.
Sega IP.
I was like, "That looks interesting. I'll pick it up." So
My
I got
favorite
that.
indie series, Toe Jam and Earl.
And then I got found a Vita game I didn't have yet, so I picked it up.
Let's go.
Farming Simulator 16.
There it is.
Hell yeah.
It's a good one.
Let's see. I got Under the Skin
Oh, fun.
because I don't know, looks interesting. It
Yeah, I
also
always
has
like the art style of that one.
it has Jill and Nemesis in the game, so that's pretty
That's true.
interesting.
It's a weird ass game.
Found some N64 games that were box and manual that I had cartridges for. So I was like, hey, let's complete some cardboard. So we got Gauntlet Legends.
Nice.
We got one half of the launch lineup.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Owens
The best half.
64. This shit's like clean as hell too. I was kind of impressed.
That does
with
look really nice.
it. We got Mario 64.
Beautiful.
Mario Kart 64 for the audio listeners.
Oh yeah, Mario Kart 64 is what I meant. The worst Mario Kart.
Damn.
I don't know about worse, but it's down there. And we got Diddy Kong Racing, the better racer on the platform.
This is for
Yes.
This is for you. When I was walking around, I seen this, and I didn't know they made a special edition bundle on the Switch, so I had to buy it. Tasmanian Tiger Bush Rescue Bundle. It's like all shiny, and it has Tie 1, Tie 2, and Tie 4, because they never fucking made an HD version of Tie 3.
That's so
I don't know why.
obnoxious. Why did they do this?
They never made Tie 3 HD.
Why?
I don't know why.
Why are they cool with missing a piece of their own series just constantly?
I don't know. I
Type 1,
literally
Type 2, Type 4.
It's obnoxious.
then picked up some PS4 stuff. Got Blair Witch.
Oh, nice.
Well,
Isn't that kind of hard to find?
I believe so. That's why I picked it up, because I remember
Mhm.
Christian talking about it. I mean, mainly on the Xbox, but I'll buy it on PS4. Then also White Day.
Hmm.
Some other like horror-looking
Oh,
game.
P-Cube. P-Cube is a good publisher to look out for. They make a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah.
Or release a lot of weird stuff.
I'm kind of on the niche of picking up like these obscure horror titles on PS4, because you know how horror titles are. you know?
Exactly. One day they'll be expensive, probably.
Um,
Something
Yeah,
about
so many
PlayStation
PS4
horror games that just always do well over time.
got Rough Trigger. It's a Natsume game.
Oh, weird.
It was like
It's like
$10.
Furry Central.
That
Pretty
was
much.
that was some heavy furry vibes there, honestly, that
Yeah.
character.
Tyler, do you need to tell us something?
No, I don't.
It's okay. It's okay. It's nothing wrong with it.
I'm not.
It's just-
And then I found this game, which never came out here. It's a Japanese game. You got, I guess, Ape Escape 2001. I don't know what the hell it says, but it's definitely not Ape Escape 2 or 3. If you look at the back, you like play as the monkeys and shit.
How funny.
I don't know, but
Man, there's
This
so
is
many
a-
weird Ape Escape things that didn't come out here. It's very strange.
this has been a $5 bin, so I was like, I'll take that for $5.
Hell yeah.
I always wanted these games because they're kind of like free roaming like Naruto games on the 360. You got
Oh,
Naruto
that game
Rise
is
of
sick.
Ninja.
I love Rise of
Mm.
Ninja.
Yeah, and I still need to get the second one, but I'll pick that up at some point.
I love that game. I totally forgot about that. Because I played a lot more Clash of Ninja on the GameCube
Yeah.
when I was a kid. But Rise of Ninja's sick.
And then I found this at a booth. Mana, Chemia, Alchemist of Owl, some shit. I don't know.
Oh.
PS2, it's the big box. This was definitely mispriced because it was like $35, and it goes for a lot more than it.
Nice.
I was like, okay, I'll pick it up.
A win is a win.
What else we got here? Shout out to Vinny. He hooked me up with this Game Boy Advance 6-pack.
Ooh.
Pretty hard to find. You know, you know.
Yeah, there's I think there's 2 6-packs on Game Boy Advance. It's like a bunch of board games, but they're all incredibly rare to find complete in box.
Mm-hmm. What are we gonna show next? All right, Donkey Kong Country 3,
Hell yeah.
complete in box.
The
Another
washed
thing
out
like,
color version for Game Boy Advance, baby.
there's another thing like Zach. I now have 2 cartridges of the game because I already had one. But Vinny hooked it up. I think I got that for like, I don't know, it was like $40 complete.
That's really cheap. Wow.
This is a pretty uncommon DS game that I kind of wanted to get, and I found it at a table for a pretty good price. Monster
Oh,
Racers.
sick.
Don't see that one often. So
No, you do not.
grabbed that. Let's see. We'll do this one next. Got this one for a pretty good price, pretty good deal. Always wanted this one. We got Sonic Adventure limited edition.
Amazing.
The Hollywood Video one. Look at the disc. Got the insert. Got the
Beautiful.
Hollywood Video on it. Everything.
Do you want to give the small history lesson on that one, Tyler?
I'll let you do it. You'll probably say it more better than I would.
It's nothing super complex, but it's cool because what it is Hollywood Video had a thing where it was like, I think it was like a week or two before the Dreamcast officially came out, where you were allowed to rent a Dreamcast in Sonic Adventure before $99.99 when it officially released. And the version of the game that you would rent is that version, the limited edition. But it's like famously more buggy and less complete than the final retail version. It was like early pressed versions of the game that weren't ready. So you're playing, it's like the limited edition is the exact same game except a worse version, which is really funny. So
does it have a separate like memory card slot? Like if you want to put both games in your Dreamcast, does it recognize it as a different game?
That I do not know. That's a good question. Probably,
yeah,
though.
This would be a cool one if I ever got it set up to just stream it and see how bad it is.
Mm-hmm. Like yeah, I've been told that it's I don't think it's like unplayable, but I've been told it's noticeably more glitchy. So it's just weird that Hollywood Video was renting the stuff out before it officially released. Very strange. Something that would never happen today.
Yeah.
Mostly because Hollywood Video and Blockbuster are dead, but you know.
Show this next. So I collect all the Sonic figures and I get them signed by the voice actors, trying to get one of each that I can. This year they had the Cream the Rabbit voice actor. She put to Mr. Tyler. Keep going. I believe in you. Put her name and put Cream the Rabbit.
Did you tell you were going to kill yourself? Why did you?
No. I guess that's a Cream the Rabbit quote. Because whenever I see them, I'm like, what's your favorite quote? Whatever your favorite quote that they say is, put that. You know? And
that's funny. Just talking Amy off the ledge in the game, and that's what she said.
I mean, it's like Big the Cat. He put Froggy, where are you? And then I'm big. But yeah,
Froggy.
Froggy.
And then yeah, I got like Jet the Hawk says shut your beak and some other shit.
That's fun.
Okay. Then for the next autograph thing, so Mystic Ryan talking about him sometimes on here. When I seen him last time at Retro Game Con in New York, I was like, yo, you know that video where you did, like, you got like 80 Hannah Montanas on PS2? I was like, I want one. And then he was like, you want one of those? I was like, yeah. So this year at Too Many Games, he was like, I brought your Hannah Montana. And I was like, let's go. So, of course, I had to get it signed by the Spawn cast.
There you go.
So we got Mystic Ryan, we got
That's
Spawn,
funny.
we got RGT85, we got Celia from Yacht Club Games, and Josie Woe, all them signed my Hannah Montana. Got a photo with all them holding that. That was kind of funny.
That's very funny.
Sounds like you gotta stream that Hannah Montana game now.
I think you should, out of respect.
Well, then I gotta open it.
Oh, is it sealed?
Oh, it's sealed. Okay,
Sealed,
okay.
bro.
Even better.
I would hate to buy a second copy.
Yeah, there we go. Ryan, if you're watching this, I need another one.
Snail it his way.
Okay, what's another Too Many Games pickup? I got gifted these like cool gold and silver promo stickers.
That's cool.
Neat. Vinny's Table, he does those video game ads I mentioned before. His girlfriend set up this thing. It was like, oh, get a Yahtzee, get a free ad. And so I just tried it, and I got a Yahtzee my first go. So I got an F-Zero GX ad because...
Ooh,
you,
nice.
You got a Yahtzee on like one try?
Well, it took 3 rolls. You got 3 rolls max, and I got it.
Okay, still, that's crazy.
Yeah, I was like, I ain't gonna get it.
Tyler's just a lucky person.
Especially because my last roll, I had to roll 3 different dice, and then I just got all 4s, and I was like, oh, look at that.
You're just a lucky man.
Damn.
Gambles once in Vegas and wins $700.
And then
A true
this thing
experience.
I bought. I think I bought it on Sunday. Yeah. Or no, I bought it on Saturday. So for the Pokemon movies, this is a Pokemon 2000 press kit. Has the original WB mailing envelope and stuff. I'll just take it out and show a little bit of it. But yeah, this dude had two of them, and funny enough, Zach, this is the same guy that Brendan bought his Soul Silver off of.
Oh,
He was
nice.
like, "Man, I see you everywhere," and I was like, "Yeah, pretty much." So he hooked me up and he gave me $50 off. So that's pretty neat. But yeah, it comes with the official folder. You got like, I got this whole pile of shit in the very
Oh,
different like. There's like 11 of these different ones.
that's really
That's
cool.
pretty cool. And then it comes with like a cast of the movie and also like a product information sheet
How
thing.
neat.
So yeah, got that because why not? And I just got to find a cool way to display it because I want to
Yeah.
display it somehow.
Dude, I love when people have shit like this. It's like, how do you even fucking get a hold of something like this?
Exactly. I'm like,
It's
I was
incredible.
debating it, and then Jonathan was like, "Dude, when are you gonna see that again?" And I was like, "Man, you're kind of right."
Yeah,
Especially
that's a
all
once in a
together.
lifetime thing, probably.
I was like, "All right, guess I'm gonna buy it." So I bought it. And then he even came to me. He was like, "Dude, I know I've seen you for like 3 years, and I've never seen you stare at something this long. I don't even know your name yet." And I was like, well, "My name's Tyler." And he was like, "Now you fucking ruined it." And I was like, "Well," and he's like, "I'm Mike though." So now we know
You
each other.
ruined our game.
The sexual tension is gone.
That's all for too many games, I think. But I got like
But there's
two other
more.
things. Yeah.
Damn, son.
So last week after we recorded, and then Zach and I were just like hanging on a Discord call for like 14 hours. Went on eBay and I was just scrolling like ending soonest, and then this thing was ending at like $40. And I mean, it's the Atelier like collector's edition for PS4.
Oh, nice.
Atelier Sophie 2. I had Sophie 1, but not 2. Not the collector's edition, but for $40, it's cheaper than the game goes for. So
Yeah, that's really cheap.
it's brand new. So
Nice.
won that.
That's
And
a series I
lastly-
want to get super into one day, is the Atelier games.
Yeah, there's a whole lot though.
There's
Like,
so many.
shit. Then lastly, I'm not gonna say much on it because if you want to know more about it, go to our Mr. Bird Dog Gaming's channel because he put out a good video about he's going over publishers and like different games and stuff. So Pocket Pool, if you know, you know. But unfortunately, my dumbass really quickly just went to buy something. I seen one, I bought it, and then I realized it was just the case. So I got a loose ass fucking case
Ugh.
of Pocket Pool. I can buy a UMD, but
Nothing
I
like
don't-
having empty Gooner material on your shelf.
exactly. And I don't know. The case feels really clean though. I'm glad he probably put a replacement on it for me or something. But
Yeah.
Just cranking his hog on your
Loose-
PSP game.
Loose pocket pool.
Disgusting.
Box
Pocket-
only.
a Pocket Pool be loose, if you know what I mean. You know.
Hey.
But so
Look at
yeah,
all that.
I think that's everything.
That's a ton of shit. Good for you. That's what I
Now
need
we're
in my
going-
life, is the game convention. I'm itching again. Because I've only ever been to one, and had
Oh.
the time of my life.
I need all of y'all to come to too many games. Like,
I'd love to. That'd be amazing. We all need to go to Portland one year, too. That'd be amazing. Like
I would
the
do that.
Gaming Expo.
I really want to go to
So,
Portland.
That'd be a great time. Speaking of your Pokemon 2000 press kit, they did just put Pokemon the first movie on YouTube on the 4th of July.
Super.
In that.
Super cool.
So I watched it, and movie still fucks. It's great. It's a great time.
It's so good.
It's so good. It's weirdly dark for a children's movie. I always forget that until I watch it again. I'm like, man, this is kind of depressing.
Now, I'm having hazy memories here. I have the original VHS. The
Mhm.
pre-movie, like short movie thing. Is
Mhm.
that on? Is that?
It's not,
Is that part of the
unfortunately.
movie? It's okay. Damn it.
Yeah, because I
I
know
like that. I
exactly
like
what you're talking about. When it started and it didn't play that, I was like confused.
Yeah, 'cause I like that little starter movie thing or pre-movie thing. It's fun.
Yeah, instead you go straight into the darkness of Mewtwo just getting fucked with and killing everybody. So
Come on.
it's a great time.
You
You don't have that nice
use-
balance. And then I fell asleep while watching that movie, and all night YouTube autoplayed movies, and somehow it eventually led to RoboCop. So I woke up yesterday morning, midway through RoboCop, which I've never seen, by the way. And I'm just like, oh shit, Red Foreman from That 70s Show is the bad guy in RoboCop? So I started it over and watched RoboCop at like 9 in the morning, and I was like, man, this movie's fucking awesome. RoboCop is so good. I loved it. It was actually incredible. So, in case you guys were wondering if RoboCop from 1987 is worth watching, you have my recommendation.
Pokemon leads you in mysterious ways, huh?
It
Also,
really does.
that's just on YouTube?
Yeah.
Like,
No. No ads, nothing. Raw dog and
Hell
RoboCop.
hell yeah.
I had a great time, and now I could finally play that RoboCop game from last year that I thought looked really fun. So after
You need to
all
play the
these
bad one
years,
first. You need
I've
to play the bad
finally
one
seen
first from the-
RoboCop shoot somebody in the dick. I've always wanted to see it because I've always heard that it happens. And the first thing RoboCop does is shoot somebody in the dick when he turns into RoboCop. So it was a great time. It was also weirdly like thoughtful. I thought it was gonna be like a mindless, violent action movie, and I was like, no, this shit's actually pretty deep. Like commentary on the police system and the justice system. I was like, damn. I was like, they weren't fucking around in RoboCop, and they had like the weird like stop motion like tank robot thing, and it looks super jagged, but it looks really cool. I love stuff like that. Like RoboCop is totally my shit. But I've been told the second and third ones suck ass, so I don't know if I'm gonna watch them or not. Has anyone here seen RoboCop 2 or 3 that could confirm or deny these statements?
I couldn't tell you if I've seen those movies. I don't even know if I've seen the first one all the way through. But
Well, like I said, you have my recommendation. RoboCop.
I get the premise.
RoboCop fucks. It's a good time. That was a tirade. I apologize, but I wanted to share
No,
my newfound
worth it.
love for RoboCop. I'm a little late to the party, but
You
Anyway.
need to get into the games and report back.
yes, there's a really bad game for original PS2, Xbox, and GameCube. I've been told is awful. I have it only came out in Japan on GameCube for some reason, and that's the copy that I own. So I could play the Japanese only GameCube version, not understand it, and let you guys know if it's good based just off of the gameplay.
It's very bad based on the gameplay. I've seen people play it. It's not a good game.
But the new
very
one
bad.
people like, Rogue City, I think is what it's called. So
Yep.
it was free on PlayStation Plus last year, I think. So, or maybe it was this year. I don't know. But
It was recent, yeah.
yeah, they added Diablo 4 recently too to PlayStation Plus. So that's another series I'd like to binge eventually. Is all 4 of the Diablos. But it annoys me because Diablo 1 is the only one not available on modern platforms in any way. So it's like I'd have to play Diablo 1 on PC, and then I could play the rest of them on PC, or I could play the rest of them on PlayStation. And I'd rather play them all on the same console, but I hate playing games on PC. It's a conundrum. It doesn't matter. Anyway, Tyler, I think it's time for some of your trivia. You look a little red. You get a little bit of sun this weekend?
It's too much.
Too much sun?
And then I always wear my snapback, so of course there's like a little line.
Perfect.
Hell yeah.
But,
Let's go. What's your hat
So-
today? What are you rocking?
Let me just turn around.
What do we got?
Bam.
Oh, there we go.
Hell
Got
yeah.
the cows.
You got the Angel, Neutral, and Hero Chow. It's a good one. Beautiful.
That's what we're rocking today.
Hell
My
yeah.
like 30,000 hats that I have.
I know.
But,
I actually was one of those. I'm like you. I used to be like you, where I wore hats all the time, just constantly. But since I grew out my hair and I got thick ass hair, if I put a hat on my head, it's just like so tight that I feel like I'm gonna pass out. So I can't wear hats anymore. It's kind of a shame.
Very sad.
Alrighty.
Very sad.
So, trivia. Let's see how much of this Zach's just gonna mow through and catch up on the lead.
Yeah, I have a feeling
Don't
this is
say-
where I start to fall behind, but we'll see.
Don't set me up to fail here.
All right.
High expectations.
So, when did Sacred Stones release in the West?
2004.
I would have said 2004. I'll say 2005 to be different.
May 23rd, 2005.
Hell yeah. That's what I meant to say.
It was
2005.
October 2004 in Japan.
Damn it.
Yeah, didn't it come out like a couple, like pretty close to the DS, right?
I think
It
so.
was a late release. So.
I should have remembered that because I knew it came out the same year as Path of Radiance. Oh well.
All right.
Fucked up.
In Fire Emblem the Sacred Stones, how many controllable units are there to get in the game?
Ooh.
Are we going whoever gets closest?
Do you want to do that, or do you want to do multiple choice? Whichever y'all want to do.
I say who gets closest.
Yeah, I'll go first this time, Greg. Give the advantage.
Okay.
If you'd like to.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say 30 characters.
Okay, I was gonna say 36.
44.
Wow.
So
Oh, a lot of characters in this game.
yeah.
And you can only ever use like 12 max, so it's pretty brutal.
That many?
Well,
So there
isn't there a
wasn't-
ton that you could get post game? Maybe that's part of it.
Yeah, when I looked on the
Yeah,
wiki,
there
I
is.
counted every single individual one.
Yeah. I don't know any of the post game characters, so
We'll touch on that.
Right. This one's fairly simple. Just shout it out when you know what it is. What number in the series is this Fire Emblem?
8.
Damn. Each get half a point.
on my end, I said it first for what it's worth.
On my end, well, same to you. So
I came through at the same time. It was like, hey.
Thank you, Discord, for your fucking delay.
All right. Just gonna write half point. Okay. Who developed Fire Emblem Sacred Stone?
Intelligent Systems.
All right.
Damn it, Tyler, why'd you have to pick easy ones?
Yeah, that was a little.
Well, who is the first recruitable character to die per the script in the game?
Per the script in the game?
Yeah.
Oh, what the
They-
fuck?
They can die in your party early, but they do die eventually in the game. You want an easy one? There you go. Fuck.
Is he gonna be Orson? I don't know what you're counting here.
Dies in the script. So they die no matter what, you're saying.
Yeah, it's a playable character.
Playable character that dies no matter what. I don't remember there being one in this game. Trying
Hold
to
on.
think.
I mean, Orson
Am I wrong
kind
here?
of like you play as Orson and then yeah, so then you kill Orson.
I don't know. Yeah. Are you fact checking yourself?
Yeah, keep talking.
All right. Yeah, I have no
um,
idea.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused here actually.
I was gonna say I don't remember you losing any units for sure. I could be wrong.
The story character that dies.
Let's just say Ross, because Ross sucks ass.
Hey,
Fucking
Ross
hate
is
Ross.
one of my favorite characters. Okay,
What's so good about Ross?
he can get some good stats if you level him up from 0 to hero. He's good.
But it's way too much work.
John, you gotta manipulate the AI in the early chapters.
Telling you, this is exactly what happened. I recruited Ross. I went to attack. He got critted, and then I never used him again. I was like, this
Okay.
guy sucks.
How about this, Tyler? Is the answer Fado?
Fado. Tyler, are
Tyler, is
you
the
alive?
answer Fado?
Fado, is that how you pronounce it?
Is it Fado Fado?
How do you spell it?
I don't know. Now this is when I looked up like trivia stuff. This is what it gave me, but now it's saying that he doesn't. I don't remember him doing it
Is,
either. So now I'm just,
is the answer you're looking for Fado?
it's this dude. Hold on.
This dude. Who is this dude? Well, what's his name?
Ford?
Yeah, Ford. That's his
Ford?
name. But like it said, he died. But then I
He
was thinking, I was
doesn't.
like, no, he doesn't. So now I'm like,
Maybe
what the
in his post game like story, they give him all like a write off at the end. Maybe he
Oh,
dies
that's
in
true.
that. I don't know. I don't remember.
That's what I'm like. I don't remember it now. First care.
I don't know what you're looking at, Tyler, but I'm gonna call BS on whatever they're feeding you there.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right. I think we need a different question for the final
In
question.
Fire Emblem Sacred Stones, the first character to die, if the player chooses to let it happen, is Ford. He is a recruitable unit who appears in Chapter 3, and his death is not a part of the story's plot, but rather a consequence of it. See, that's not what it told me earlier. What the fuck?
It's
Not
okay.
appear in chapter 3. Are you on some Google AI nonsense here? Is it
Oh,
making
no.
stuff up?
Well, there was an article. No, I can't find the article.
It's all right.
I don't know. All right.
Next question. Moving on.
I mean, that was the fifth question, so I have no clue what to do for another question. But
Uh-oh.
that was a. I want to do some research on that one. I want to get to the
Let's
depths
figure out
of
what that means.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to know.
Okay,
But,
I'll give y'all a trivia question. I'll reverse the Uno table here.
All right.
Um, can y'all name the 3 games in the Fire Emblem series? They're not connected to any other game in the series.
Sacred Stones.
Sacred Stones is the first one.
3 Houses.
3 Houses. And the next one's
And-
kind of a cheat. Next one's kind of a cheat answer.
Engage.
And Echoes / Gaiden, right?
No, those are connected to the first game. I'm counting.
Wait,
I'm counting
really?
Fates as. Yeah, I'm counting Fates as one game. Like it's like 3 games, but
Okay.
it's one game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every other game is connected to another game in the series in some way.
Weird. I thought Gaiden was separated for some reason.
It's just in the same world as the first game, but like over the ocean. Some characters go back
okay.
and forth.
The good old Fates games. All right. Well, I guess I get a point for that one.
Just go against me and you get a point.
No, give him 2/3 of a point.
I'll give him half a point so that we're both way on equal fucking terms.
Give me 5/16 of a point for that one. Just make it more complicated. All right. So where do we currently stand? What's the score as of now?
Hold on, if you want 5/16 of a point, give me a second.
I don't actually.
Oh, you don't?
2/3 of
care.
a point.
7/16 of a point.
I'm just gonna give you half a point for that.
I'll take it.
That's what we're gonna do. So that way we can be even though. So we got Craig at 14. So we got Craig at 15
And
and Zach. Let's see, 9, 10.
rubbing his hands like a fly.
We got Zach at 12. Craig 15, Zach 12.
Oh, we're at even numbers now. That's bullshit.
No, that's good.
Because we both got a half point earlier.
New
Damn it.
rule: there's no longer half a point.
No. No.
Demand a recount.
You're not adding in that shit.
Ooh, that's
Can we
funny.
still award 3rd points or 2/3 points?
If it allows, if it's a scenario that needs it to be, we will do
I think
it.
there was
We'll,
just
we'll find a
scenario.
way. We'll find a
No,
way
that
to
was-
make it relevant. It's
We
fine.
just had the perfect option there, but
Yeah. Well, no. That was half a point equivalent. So
Well, boys. Topic of the show: Fire Emblem 8, the Sacred Stones. Zach, we're gonna let you take the reins on this conversation, since this is one of your favorite games. I think it's best if you lead the conversation here.
sure. I guess a little background for me. I've played pretty much every Fire Emblem game that's been available to me, but Fire Emblem Sacred Stones is the one that I have rolled credits in the most times. I've probably beaten the game a dozen times easily.
It's crazy.
Been playing it since it was my first Fire Emblem that I owned. I played Fire Emblem 7 from a neighbor, borrowed that one, but then I liked it so much that it was gifted to me by my mother. Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. I played that game since I got it, on and off every couple years for the last 20 something years. It's in my top 5 favorite Fire Emblems as far as like my enjoyment of it. I don't know if it's in the top 3. That's a pretty competitive group there. But yeah, definitely one that I'm pretty familiar with. I was looking back on this episode and I realized that the last 6 times I played this game, I've not paid attention to the story whatsoever. I've just been skipping it. So I was having to try to remember the big plot lines when going through it. But yeah, I guess for y'all, this is both y'all's first times with this game.
yep.
Yes, I've started it before, but never got very far. So this was the first time I'd played it beginning to end.
And I guess just to say how we played it, my most recent time replaying it, I played on the Switch 2 through NSO. Tyler, I think that was the same thing you did. And Craig, you played on the 3DS, right?
Yes, so there actually is officially a 3DS Game Boy Advance version of this. They gave it away to Nintendo ambassadors back in the day when they were apologizing for
kids.
the shitty pricing of the 3DS. This was one of the Game Boy Advance games that they gave to those people for free. So we didn't get a lot of Virtual Boy Game Boy Advance games. You were never actually able to buy them. But I did have a version that I pirated because whatever, I don't fucking care. And I played it that way. So I was not able to cheese anything in the Game Boy Advance Virtual Console games on 3DS. There is no save states, no rewinds, nothing like that. So it was basically the equivalent of playing it on an actual Game Boy Advance, just with the convenience of playing it on my favorite console.
Yeah, them adding it to the ambassador program, like obviously, like, oh, it's cool they did that. It's cool they added that game in. But for someone like me that I didn't buy the 3DS for a couple of years. I didn't have the money at the time. So for me, I didn't have the ambassador program, and then I was just boxed out of ever buying this game on Virtual Console ever because since it was part of the ambassador program, they never made it purchasable.
Yeah, it's obnoxious. None of the Game Boy Advance games they never did. It's super weird. No reason they couldn't have more of them on there, had them run. Remember when Nintendo said that Super Nintendo games could only run on new 3DSs? That was fucking dumb too, by the way, because the original 3DS was running Game Boy Advance games. Anyway. But yeah, it was very strange that they had those games. They only gave them away to ambassadors, and then there's no other way to ever get them. So it's like they went through the effort of porting those games to be playable on that system for basically no reason. At the end of the day, it's very strange. But everything about it is kind of strange. Because it's like when you close your 3DS, it gives you a message saying like, oh, your 3DS can't go into sleep mode while Game Boy Advance games are playing. But then you close your 3DS and it goes into sleep mode. So it's like everything about it's a little funky and weird. But I was happy I was able to play it on there. I started it on my 3DS because I didn't know if I was going to get a Switch 2. And I did get a Switch 2, so I regretted not starting it on Switch just because I would have preferred to play it. Looking for any excuse to play my Switch 2. Just because there's just not really a lot of games for it yet. So it would have been nice, but I'm still getting a lot of use out of my Switch 2 regardless. But it made it like not fun to boot up my 3DS for a week when I wanted to be booting it up on my Switch 2 instead.
Switch 2, so I'm using save states. I beat the game enough where if I make a mistake, I've claimed my right as being able to reverse that mistake and undo it. But yeah, so this game starring Ephraim and Erica. There's two lords. They are twins. You are from how do y'all say it? Renee's? How do you pronounce it?
I said Renee's.
Renee's. Mm-hmm. So basic plot is an allied kingdom invades your kingdom, kills your dad, which is a Fire Emblem staple. Your dad dies.
And Fire Emblem if your dad ain't dying.
Yeah, dies in like the opening cutscene, and then you evacuate, you run away. Another Fire Emblem staple, running away from your fallen kingdom, and then you have to gather some alliances, gather the sacred stones, and blah blah. As the enemies are trying to destroy them, and you go defeat evil. It's a pretty generic plot line. I don't think it's anything super notable, but it's fun enough. There's some fun moments, I guess. But
yeah, that's probably my biggest gripe with the game is just how kind of like nothing burger the story is. It's there and they try, but it's like even before we recorded this, I watched a video summary of the plot of Fire Emblem Sacred Stones, and I'm like, I'm still not sure what happened. Because it's just kind of a bunch of nonsense. I don't even really think they explain what the Sacred Stones do, just that it's bad if they get destroyed. But they don't really say what they...
They're just MacGuffins. They're just MacGuffin, like magical entities. Yeah, they're just
exactly, but they don't explain it. They're just like, oh no, we have to collect them all before they get destroyed. And it's like, but what happens if they get destroyed? And they're like, anyway.
Anyway. That would be bad, wouldn't it?
We don't even know what the consequences would be, so let's not let it happen.
Yeah, so the Sacred Stones, I think there's 5 of them, and they're all like in the capitals of the big cities of the game, the big countries. So you go from like, you're basically country hopping, like going like this big kingdom, meeting their people, making alliances with them. I can't remember for sure because I didn't replay the story all the way through. I think all of them get destroyed at the end, but one Sacred Stone. Because you're racing against the bad guys who are trying to destroy them because they want to destroy the Sacred Stones to release the ultimate evil in the world. I think that's the...
And Erica gives away the Sacred Stone like a fucking idiot. That pissed me off.
Yeah, I'm so annoyed. The main antagonist of the game is Leon, who is your like childhood friend from the nation that invaded you, so you don't understand why he's evil. But yeah, he convinces Erica at the end, like, you should totally give me your sacred stone. That'd be really cool. And she's like, okay, if you say so. And he's like,
And
aha,
then
you
he's like,
fell for
"Ha,
it.
you idiot! I'm evil."
I'm evil. Yeah, so the story is like not what I come to this game for. I come to this game because it's a relatively shorter Fire Emblem, and it's very replayable because of the way it introduced a new system, in that you can choose the classes your units promote into.
Hmm.
So previous Fire Emblem games, all the units, when you get to a level, use a certain item, you'll promote into a certain class, and it's all planned out, predetermined. It makes the characters feel more distinct, but also it like lowers the replay value. But in Sacred Stones, each character can class up into two different classes, so you can make subsequent runs feel more different using slightly different classes that have slightly different weapons or slightly different skills, so on and so forth. So that's why I like to replay the game a lot, is because every run feels a little bit different. Um,
For the people that have never played Fire Emblem before, do you think we should explain the bread and butter of the gameplay?
that's a good point. I assume that everyone has played Fire Emblem as much as
Yes.
me.
I will never forget when our good friend Christian reached out when we did our Ape Escape episode, and he's like, "Brother, if no one's ever played Ape Escape, they're not going to know what the fuck you're talking about. You got to make sure you explain
Yep.
the game." And I was like, "That's fair." So I always
That's
want to
fair.
make sure that we explain what these games are and how they work, especially if it's something that people might have not played before.
Fair enough. So, I guess add in some flavor when you'd like. Fire Emblem is a strategy RPG. You are on a tile set. Every map is a top-down view of these squares. Each character can move a certain number of tiles, and then you move them next to an enemy, and you engage in turn-based, predetermined battles where you have stats like damage, health, and a hit chance. And all these numbers are predetermined and based off your stats. There's no actual active battling. You look at the numbers, you do some math, you decide if the probabilities are in your favor, and then you watch a cool like animated cutscene of the battle.
Hmm.
Characters have permadeath. If they hit 0 health, they die unless you hold those trigger buttons and go backwards a few frames and stop that battle from happening.
Yeah, I don't know. No
Um,
one ever died in my playthrough. So.
Tyler made sure of that. That can bring some frustration. You know, early Fire Emblem games, part of the challenge and part of the reason the difficulty is inherent in the design of the game is, you know, if someone dies at the end of a chapter and you don't want that to happen, you have to restart the whole chapter over. You can't just start that turn over. So sometimes if you're going for like a deathless run, you can play a certain chapter over and over again. It can take you hours. In later games, starting in Echoes on the 3DS, they added a turn wheel mechanic that has been in all the new games now, where you get like a set number of like oopsies. I'm going to go back in time to the beginning of this turn and not let that happen. Which I think overall is a good middle ground where like you're not forced to use the mechanic in the new games.
But it's an
But
option.
if you do make a mistake, and a legitimate boneheaded mistake, you can just undo it. So,
And in the newer games, you can turn off permadeath as well, from an Awakening onward.
Yep.
And, you know, a lot of Fire Emblem purists, I think, are against that. Personally, I think it's just up to you, because I know a lot of people that won't try the series because of that. And I think that that's valid, too, because I think that that's, you know, an added stress factor. And some people just... And, you know, it's not common for tactics games to do this, actually. You know, I think more tactics games don't have this opposed to doing it. I've always thought it was interesting that this... You know, first-party Nintendo IP is actually one of the more hardcore strategy role-playing games that you can play. So if this is a problem for you, you know, and you are interested in the series, you could try the games Awakening onward and play them without permadeath, and maybe, you know, once you get a feel for it, maybe you could go backwards and then try the games with permadeath. I know the first time I played Fire Emblem was Awakening, and I did play with permadeath turned off just because I was like, that sounds not fun. But now, when I play the games, I always play with permadeath on, just because I feel like it's a big part of the experience. You know, you get attached to these characters, you don't want to lose them. Like you said, the frustration of getting to the end of the map and losing somebody, you're like, do I just let this character go? Do I just start over and spend another hour and a half doing this map again? How do I want to handle this? I think it's part of the core gameplay experience to have permadeath on in Fire Emblem, because the game does a good job of you play these games and you pick favorites. You get attached to these characters, whether how little personality they have or how big personality they have. You know, sometimes you just really like the character's design. You get attached to these characters. So having that added level of, you know, caution layered on top, I think, is a core part of the gameplay experience.
Yeah, you're a Fire Emblem purist and you're upset that they've added all these accessibility and broadening of the net features that people play. I mean, you control the buttons you press. You don't have to engage with that. You can play the game the way you want.
Yep.
I know some people. A way I've always wanted to try playing these games is doing an Iron Man run. So an Iron Man run is you play the game, and if you lose a character, you have to keep going. The goal is to beat the game without restarting a chapter. So if a character dies, you just keep chugging along and you try to beat the game with the permadeath without restarting. So I've never actually done one of those before. I've always been intrigued by the idea, but I hate the idea of getting like 20 hours into a game and then losing.
But I would love for you to stream Awakening Maniac mode and do an Iron Man.
So Lunatic mode and Awakening is horse shit. And Lunatic
it's considered
Plus
like the most unfair in the entire series, from what I've been told.
So I have beaten Lunatic mode in Awakening through like extreme trial and error. Basically, the early game's BS, then you can get to the late game, you can kind of snowball, and you can beat it like normal. But Lunatic Plus on Awakening is maybe the most ridiculous mode ever conceived. The first few chapters, there are outcomes of way the enemies can be placed and the skills they can have in that game, where it's literally statistically impossible for you to win. You have to start the run over.
It's such horseshit.
It's so stupid. But that's not the case in Sacred Stones. I think Sacred Stones, I think it is personally, I think it's a good game for people to start with in the series because, I don't know, I think the Game Boy Advance games are, they're at a nice purity level where there's not getting to later games, there's like high levels of like skills and complexity. It is the core mechanics of the game. It's a pretty short game, and personally, I think it's on the easier side. I've also played it a dozen times. I know, Craig, you were saying you have some qualms with that statement, and it might just be from me being very familiar with the maps and stuff like that. But Tyler, I guess, how did you find as playing this one for your first time? You've played other Fire Emblems before. Did you find this game notably easier or more difficult than other games in the series?
I feel like because I didn't do any extra grinding or anything, like I didn't do any extra battles. By the time I got to like chapter, I'll say like 15 or something, I was getting my ass whooped sometimes, and I was constantly.
What difficulty did you play on?
I think it was normal.
Normal, okay.
Yeah, but dude, like I think it was 15. It was just giving me such a hard time, and I was just like, "Yo, I'm not gonna beat this game." Like I was getting pissed off. I was like, "Ugh."
Chapter 15 can be tough. That's the one where it's a desert map and you're stuck in the sand. You have two bosses on either end.
Yes, that was
one.
I think I actually have some text to you, Zach, where I was like, "This just feels unfair." Was what I said.
And like everybody was just getting their ass kicked, and I was just like, "What the fuck?" But then Seth is usually like the go-to guy, and he just fucking annihilates anything. It don't even matter about no weapon triangle or no shit. But like, even he was getting his ass kicked. I was like,
he can't move because it's
sand. Yeah, so 15 was definitely the turning point for me as well, where I was like, damn, this is like really tough.
I took like 12, and then you get 3 more, so 15. You put them all at the bottom right, killed that motherfucker, healed them all, brought them all to the top left, and then But that's
funny. I had the opposite strategy of you. Was I charged everyone to the top left because that guy, you got his death axe, and then you could use it on the guy on the bottom right and kill him in one hit. So, or devil axe, sorry.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that chapter is a notorious one. It's 2 difficult bosses. They both drop very good items. Kalech is he's in the top left. He's like an axe hero. He actually drops the Hoplon Guard, which prevents critical hits. There's a guy near him that I think drops the Devil Axe. But
oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
And that's a very good item because critical hits can really screw you over. So I like to go get the Hoplon Guard first, put it on a character I don't want to die. Then you go take out Valter, who has I think it's the Philly Shield, which prevents like arrow attacks hurting flyers, which is a very useful item. It's very annoying against him because he's a flyer and you want to shoot arrows at him. And it'd be super nice if you could just cheese them, but you cannot do that.
That's a tough chapter.
Chapter 15 is a tough chapter. This game's separated, I think, into like 3 main segments. There's the original 8 chapters where you're playing through, you're learning the basics, you're playing through the game, and then you get to a pivotal moment in chapter 8, and then there's a route split. So a lot of the games have route splits. The way it works in this game is you choose to go with Erica or Ephraim. And then from chapter 9 to 14, they have their own individual stories, individual maps. You end up getting all the same recruitable characters, but in different order, different frequency, different ways. And then they meet back up in chapter 15. It's when the story recollides, and then you go to the end of the game with all your characters. So chapter 15 is a big moment. It's also a difficult chapter. It's also a grindy chapter, as it's in sand, and you have to kill like 50 units. So
yeah, and the random like recruits and spawns that come from the enemy are very excessive as well. It's like you have your three characters in the bottom left corner. You move them forward, and then like 20 units pop up behind you. You're like, "Fuck, man, come on."
Yeah, when it was like 43 units to start, and I was like, "Damn." I was like, "All right, we'll get through it."
And then another 10 show up,
10, and then all the dudes at the top, and I was just like, "Are you kidding me?" And so then I had to move some people up there. Got the people from the side. And I was like, "Oh my god."
I will say that was probably the most difficult the game got. After that, I felt like I was okay again. But that chapter was like I probably had to do that one 2 or 3, like maybe 3 or 4 times where I had to restart. And I definitely spent the longest on that chapter too, just because of how hard it was to move through the sand. Because all of my best characters were on horseback. So
Yep, it'll do that too. Because horse characters are tend to be really good in these games because they can move great distances and they can be very versatile, get places. But when you're in the sand, they cannot do that. So it makes them a lot harder to use. You mentioned having a lot of characters spawn in the bottom left, and you only have 3 characters. Funny enough, obviously you played the Erica route.
Yes, I did.
If you play the Ephraim route, Erica spawns on the top with just her, Innis, and someone else. I can't remember who it is, but that one's not as bad because Innis is a bow guy.
Yeah, so you can knock all the
Pegasus Knights out. You can just keep sniping them out. So I think that actually makes the chapter a little easier because you have all your units at the bottom left where all the horse people are showing up, and you can just take them out.
That makes sense. Okay.
The bow guy could just keep sniping the Peg Knights as it were.
The good old Peg Knights. Yeah, because it's the game tells you that Ephraim's route's the harder route, so that's why I decided to save that for later. I made a split save before that at the chapter before you can make that decision. That way, when I decide to play the game again, I could go back and do Ephraim's chapters. I was gonna try to do it before the show, but the story is pretty much the same either way for what I've read online, so I feel like I didn't really miss out on too much. Just different chapters.
The overall story does not change, and basically what happens
because it doesn't exist. But
sure, when you get the color of when you do Erica's route, Ephraim shows up. He's like, "I did this," and like that's basically what happens. He did that, and when Erica
I
shows
went
up,
and
she
killed
says,
the whole general or some shit like that. And you were just camping
basically.
or some shit.
What route did you do, Tyler?
I took the Erica route.
Did you? Okay.
So y'all missed out on, I think 2 of the hardest chapters in the game are on the Ephraim route. There's 2 notorious ones. There's chapter 11. It's Ghost Ship. So what Ghost Ship is you're on a boat, a small boat, and you can't really move around, and it's fog of war, and it's just gargoyles spawning from all directions coming at you. It's very stressful because you can't see anything coming. You can't really prepare for what's going to come to you. So Ghost Ship's a pretty tough chapter. I normally just resort to undeploying everybody except for like Seth and Dusel.
Just have them take it all.
Just have them take the whole thing and don't do anything else.
That's smart.
And then chapter 14 is one that always gives me trouble. That's Ephraim's last chapter. It's a big, long castle route, and there's a character in the back that's shooting spells at you from a long distance. And one of the spells they shoot at you is a Berserk Staff. And what that does, if a Berserk Staff hits your person, they start attacking enemies and allies indiscriminately.
Oh my god.
So your best character gets berserked, and then they just turn around and start, like Seth starts coming at you with a sword. And that will obviously just end your run if that happens. But
that's brutal.
Let's talk a little bit of characters. I want to talk about kind of see what character builds you all use. So for a little bit of background, I didn't get into this too much. The way this game works is there's a rock, paper, scissors system.
Yes.
The weapon triangle is a big thing for the Fire Emblem game. So basically, swords beat axes, axes beat lances, lances beat swords. So if you attack with a better weapon type, you get a higher, you can get increased hit chance, which is obviously good because if you have a higher chance to hit and they have a lower chance to hit, you're going to come out unscathed a lot of times. Also, depending on your weapon rank with a particular weapon class, you can do more damage if you have the advantage. Same thing goes for magic. Anima magic, which is like your fires, your lightnings, all that. It's all one bucket. Anima magic beats light, light beats dark, dark beats anima. Um, so each character has a certain set of weapons they can use. Normally, the lower classes you can use like one weapon type, and then you promote them, you'll get another weapon type. But I guess so. What characters did y'all use, and what promotions? Like, what was your best character other than like your main lord? Who's your best character, and what promotion path did you bring them through?
I'm
looking right now. I actually got it loaded up right here, so I could go through my units. Obviously, Erica and Ephraim and Seth were all the best. But Seth, you can't promote. He's promoted from day one.
Yeah, so
So
Seth is probably the most broken character in Fire Emblem history. He consoled the game from the
Dude,
start.
the one chapter I did, he was just taking everything. I was like, yo, all right, Seth, go do it. Go do
So
it.
that's the main reason I always consider Sacred Stones on the easier side because you always have Seth and he can always beat the game no matter what. He's a paladin. You get him at in the prologue and he's instantly like pretty much end game ready from the start. So Seth's very good.
Because I'm looking now, and a lot of my best units were the ones you get later on that are already promoted, like Sele,
Sale's very good.
Ines. I think Garrick is already... No, he's not promoted, but he's good. Mir is a Manakiti. I don't know if they could promote, don't think so.
No.
But a lot of my best ones. But of like the characters you get early on that carried me to the very end, my girl Vanessa made her a Falco Knight. I liked her a lot. She got me through thick and thin. And then my main man Garcia, I made him a warrior, and he was just such a fucking tank by the end of the game. So those are probably my two that really carried me through. Oh, Lute as well. I made her a mage knight just so I could get her the distance. And those were kind of the three from early on that I kept the whole way through. But for the most part, I kind of switched everybody else out as time went on. So just for better units.
Sit on that for a second because you kind of mentioned the three different types of classes. So you can have foot units, you can have cavalry units, then you can have like flying units. So your Falcon Knights, typically, they have the lower defense. They're weak to arrows, but they can fly over any terrain. So it makes them very useful to be able to get around anything and everything. So Falcon Knights are typically pretty good in these games, and Vanessa, in my experience, has always been a very good unit. Your mounted units on the horses, they can run far. They get stuck in sand, though. But like pretty much in all games, paladins, especially in the Game Boy Advance games, the paladins are very good. Cavaliers are very good. So it's never wrong to go with one of those.
Yeah, they're kind of the most OP class just overall.
Yeah, paladins are very OP. And then your foot units, you don't normally get like any special features for them, like being able to move far, move over stuff, but they typically have like higher stat caps, like warriors and sages have like maxed out like magic and attack stats. So it makes them maybe better combat units sometimes, but they don't have the moment to moment versatility that like a mounted unit would have.
And a lot of the magic users, like I think you said last night when we were on talking on game chat, a lot of them are glass cannons, which is a great way to put it. They hit like crazy, but they're super fragile, so you got to be careful on where you're placing them.
Yeah, they might have like you have two defense stats in the game. You have defense, which is defends from arrows, swords, lances, and axes. Then you have resistance, which is from all the magic. I would say in general, physical weapons are more common. So your magic characters will have higher resistance sometimes, but there's less people shooting magic, so it's not always super useful.
Yeah.
But on the alternate side there, since you're fighting a lot of physical units, they often do a lot of damage to the enemies as well. So yeah, glass cannons is a good way to put it.
True.
Tyler, do you have any characters that really stuck out to you? Your favorites to use?
I mean, obviously Seth. I like Joshua. I used him a bit.
That's just fun. Did you make him an assassin or a sword master?
I did a sword master.
No.
I didn't get Joshua.
You didn't get Joshua? Oh, you killed him?
I get Joshua.
You talk to him?
Every time I started that map twice, and both times he killed himself fighting Seth, so I just gave up.
Yeah, so
Seth kind of gets in the way sometimes because he's too strong.
And then later his mom dies, and then it's like, oh, that sucks.
I never would have known.
Certain characters in the game, you do have to recruit on the map. So a lot of characters show up in the story, and you just get them. Certain ones, like Joshua is the first notable one. They're on the map as an enemy, and you have to talk to them with someone on your team to turn them to your side. So Joshua's an interesting one because he's a Myrmidon with a killing edge, so he's very dangerous early game because he can crit you and kill you. Um, but you have to talk to him with a healer.
Yeah,
And
so
not
it's
do
tough to
like
get her
defend,
there.
not defend
Yeah.
herself at all.
I
The
think
way
it was a
I always
pocket.
do it is you kite out all the enemies around Joshua, and then you throw Gilliam out there. Gilliam can take a crit, and then once Joshua comes up to Gilliam, you can go talk to him with Natasha. Um,
R.I.P. Natasha as well. Another one of my fallen soldiers.
dang,
Oh damn, not
Natasha's
on
pretty
mine.
good.
She's another one where it's like I made it to the end of a map and I'm like, well, it's been nice knowing you. I'm not doing this again.
Yeah, you end up using a mounted healer that you get later in the game, and she pretty much just replaces Natasha.
Yeah. Although I feel like La Rachel, or however you say it, it's spelt weird. It's L''ARACHEL. Her growth stats kind of fucking blow.
Yeah, she's not great stat wise, but she's on a horse, which is like,
So it's like she gets to where she needs to go.
yeah.
Yeah, when I was like horse healer, let's go.
Yeah, the horse healers are definitely the way to go.
Yeah, and then later in the game, you can just use your sages to heal, which just that helps because
True.
They already have high magic and stuff. But, Tyler, I feel like did you?
I mean, those are like my main ones I use, and I switched around kind of at the end. I was doing different things.
Yeah, you get a big limit towards the end. Like I have this is chapter 20 open right now because that was my last save before beating the game and then saving in the epilogue. You get 18 units, so you get quite a lot at the end. Most of the game you could only pick up to like maybe 12. So when I got to this chapter, I had like 6 units where I'm like, oh, I guess I'll use these people just because I need to use them. But I will say that's when I finally used Tethys, I think is how you say her name, and she actually kind of came in clutch. So being able to use her to have units go twice, that was pretty useful in the last couple of maps.
Yeah, so Tethys is a dancer. Dancer is a staple class from the series where they're completely useless, other than the fact that they can use the dance move to make any character move again on any turn, which kind of makes them the best character in the game if you think about it, because it's just you can use your best character twice in a turn.
Yeah, as long as they're not behind like someone that could shoot, 2 spaces ahead like a mage or an archer. Pretty much the perfect unit.
They're
to
very
just pair
fragile
behind anybody.
Yeah, they're very fragile, but they're very useful. Dancers have had a fun history in the series. I think it's Fire Emblem 4 is the... I can't remember I don't think there's a dancer in the first 3 games. I know that in Fire Emblem 4, though, you get a dancer, and the way dancers work in that game is it's any character above, below, left, or right. They can dance 4 characters a turn.
Holy cow.
Which is bonkers.
That's broken as hell.
Super bonkers. And then after that, they moved to the, dance for 1 character thing. Up until, I believe it's Path of Radiance, actually. The way it works in Path of Radiance is your dancers can transform, and if they're in the transform state, they do the super dance of all 4 directions, but otherwise they just get the 1. But yeah, dancer characters are something I always like to keep on the team just because you can use your best character twice, and that's a very useful thing.
Yeah, I feel like at first they always feel like they're kind of not valuable, and then once you realize what you can do with them, you always want to have them around.
Yep. And then eventually a rule with dancers always to kind of keep them balanced is they can't attack. It's like the biggest rule. And then in Fates, they really broke that rule. They made Azura.
Yes.
Azura, I think. And they're like, oh, she also has a lance she can attack. She's still very frail, but the fact that she can defend herself and dance is kind of silly. She can become very good. But she's also like a main character in that game, so it kind of makes sense.
You know how we're getting old? Is I randomly got popped up on my YouTube shorts the trailer for Fates where she sings like the famous song from that game, the "You are the ocean's great waves," and I felt super nostalgic. I'm like, oh man, it was that long ago now. Like I remember seeing the trailer for those in directs and being so excited.
That song's fire though, so
it is really good. That is something I own that's really cool. Actually, I have like this really big box set, and it's like I think like 14 discs, and it's every song from Fates, and it's really cool. It's like the super cool like CD box set that I ordered forever ago. Because Fire Emblem games got some great fucking music. They really do.
All right, so just to wrap up the story conversation, I'm going to run down the entire list of characters.
Okay.
And you're going to rapid fire if good, bad, don't care. Okay?
I'm not even sure how many of them I'm gonna remember.
Yeah, hold on.
So,
I got this list up with their names, so go
Okay.
ahead.
all right, so Erica, good, bad, don't care.
I want to like her, but she pissed me off because she's so stupid.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna go in the middle for that one. Don't care.
And you can include story and gameplay elements in this.
Then I'll put good because Erica was just like her speed and luck were ridiculous. Like I dumped all of my speed or all of my like stat boosters into her, so she was just ridiculous by end game. So I'll give her a good.
We'll go good. We'll go good.
Seth.
I mean, above good.
I was gonna say too good. Like I said, I feel like I fucked myself with Seth because I used him too much at the beginning of the game, and then midway through the game, everyone was under leveled except for him because I'd throw him out there because he could run far, and then everyone would attack him, and he'd soak up all the experience. So I kind of screwed myself in a way. But yeah, he's like you said, probably the best unit in all of Fire Emblem, which is wild.
Yep.
So.
I was like looking at different tier lists, and it was like tier list from Seth to like D or something like that.
Seth
I was like...
That's funny.
He has a cool story moment too. There's early in the game you're betrayed by one of the other paladins of your army, Orson, and when Seth shows up, he's like, "Hey, what's going on, man? This is really weird. Why you being so weird here?" And then he's like, "Erica, get behind me." And he's like, Orson's like, "Seth, whatever could be wrong?" And Seth's like, "Orson, why are you hiding a blade in your coat?" Or whatever. And he's just like,
yeah, I remember that now.
And they blow up the bridge, blah blah. But
yeah, Seth's pretty
cool
goated actually. Even like gameplay aside, he's just kind of a cool dude. So.
Yep.
Big dick
Franz.
energy.
Franz.
First character I dropped. Bad.
Yeah, he wasn't good. I didn't like
Dang.
it.
Which is funny
No
because
Franz,
I think I was talking to you about this, Zach. I think you confirmed what I read online is that he could become like one of the most broken characters in the game, and I was like, oh, he just sucks in the beginning, so I missed out on that. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's a level 1 Cavalier horse unit, so you get him very early. If you play with him the whole game, he'll just turn to Seth 2.0 basically.
So we could have had a second Seth.
Could have second Seth. All right, Gilliam, a knight.
Good. Gilliam was my fucking tank to the end. That one chapter where you're guarding I think it's like chapter 18 or 19 where
19?
you're guarding that one king. Yeah, Last Hope 19. All I did was have him go from each opening and just take no damage for the entire time until I got sent to the boss.
Tyler G's Gilliam.
Yeah, he was good.
Did y'all make him a general or a great knight? I always go general.
I went general.
Oh, I never even promoted him. He's still
You
a
didn't
knight.
promote him?
No.
Used him all game and didn't promote him?
No.
He was only level 13. I was trying to not promote people until they got to 15. So
Fair enough.
because I wanted to try to get a good maximum amount.
Gilliam's so funny because he's one of 2 generals you can get in the game, and generals get a skill called Great Shield where it has like a skill % chance to proc no damage, but he has such high defense he often takes no damage. So someone will come at him like, "I'm gonna do no damage to you." He's like, "Please, I'm gonna proc my skill Great Shield and you'll do no damage to me." It's like, okay, Gilliam, thanks for wasting my time.
That's awesome.
But
yeah, I never promoted him, so I missed out on that.
that's funny. Okay, Vanessa, your first peg knight.
Dude, she, like I said, she was my girl beginning to end. Relied on her like no other. What did I? So this was my favorite thing I did with her in this game was Chapter 20, Darkling Woods. A disgustingly difficult chapter, shit ton of enemies. Right before the final map in the game, I skipped it all. Skipped the entire chapter. I used her, flew her all the way to the boss, had Erica crit the boss, then all the surrounding enemies missed Erica, and I seized the castle on turn 3. It was fucking incredible. I was like, I feel like a god right now. Did I have to reset 4 or 5 times to get the RNG? Yes, but I still did it. Because as soon as I realized I could just fly her over, I was like, I have to make this happen.
Yeah, so Darkling Woods is a chapter where you have to go up and around the whole chapter, like fighting through a gauntlet of tough, like endgame enemies.
There's legit, like 50 monsters. It's insane.
Yeah. Or you can just fly from their starting area, basically right there, and just.
I was gonna say, is that a starting strat, or was I a big brain move there, or do a lot of people do that?
Starting strat. I mean, no, that's no. the intended way is to fight through the gauntlet.
Yeah, no.
Because you are going higher risk if you send one or two characters over there. There's a lot of tough. Like the two bosses are really tough over there. They can kill
Yes,
you.
they are. Oh my god.
So it's
I'm telling you, it was total luck that I was able to do that. So
it is a strategy to pull off if you're going for like a low turn count run or a speed run. That it's definitely the way to save time, but it's definitely more risky.
yeah, and like I said, I had to reset 3 or 4 times, but I felt like a fucking god going over there. Literally every enemy missing, and then I just seized the castle. I was like, man, I was like, no one is better than me right now. I'm the king of Fire Emblem.
Yep.
Because that probably would have been like a 2-hour chapter otherwise. That is a gauntlet of a chapter.
It's a grindy one for sure.
And I did it in like 10 minutes.
Yep.
On my successful run. But
in my later days of Fire Emblem, I've gotten like more familiar with the series when I replay games. I do like to try to cheese maps, like skipping maps like that. So Darkling Woods is a fun one. So
did you go through that one the right way, Tyler? Did you go through the gauntlet of enemies?
Yeah, I didn't think that. I probably should have done
probably
that.
53 hours.
Roughly.
That must be I'm assuming that's the longest map in the game if you do it legitly, because there's so much going on.
Between that or Chapter 15, both of them are pretty long.
Yeah, Chapter 15 took me a while.
15, bro.
All right, next up, your first healer, Molder the Boulder.
Oh, Molder is a fucking great unit. I loved Molder. He's a good for sure.
I agree.
So Molder's funny.
He's got the manliest mustache.
Molder has picked up a fandom within the Fire Emblem community as Molder the Boulder. And a lot of ROM hacks, what they do is they change him from a healer to a buff like fighter, and they redo his artwork where he's just this swole dude, and he just walks up and he just like decks people, and it's so funny. Yeah, Molder the Boulder has a persona of his own.
Hell yeah, let's go.
And it's because it is funny. He just has a big mustache. He's like it's just a random looking middle aged man.
As goofy as it sounds, you don't get a lot of that in Fire Emblem. You get like
brown hair,
like
he looks
pretty
like a regular
anime
person.
girls, or just like suave looking dudes, and then you just have this guy that kind of looks like my dad is the healer.
Yeah, with a mustache and So Molder the Boulder.
Shout out to Molder.
I rarely actually use him because healers take so long to level up in this game. To actually promote him is a lot of work. But if you can get him up to a priest or a bishop, he can be pretty good.
Because I'd imagine if you can get, because they could use warp, right? I'm assuming is how the people that I was gonna say. I feel like this game, the difficulty would fucking plummet if you have warp, and I didn't get that because that's a lot of work. But the last couple of chapters, if you could just warp to the end, I can imagine that being super easy.
That's a lot of Fire Emblem maps. Warp has changed a lot, and like how good it is based off of like how easy it is to get, how many uses you have, and then how good warp itself is. So. Some games like Thracia, warp, you can just send them to any tile on the entire map. You can just push them at the end. So you can really warp skip stuff. And then some games, it's based off of like your magic stat divided by a certain number. It's like is the tiles you can send them. There's also a staff in some of the games called rewarp, where you warp your own, like the character using warp warps themselves somewhere. That's also really broken. Warp skipping chapters is a fun way to play Fire Emblem if you don't care about getting experience and just like cheesing a map.
Yeah, and sometimes that seems like a good idea, and then you're super underleveled. So, like, I probably would have had an even easier time for the final 2 chapters if I actually went through chapter 20.
Yep. There's a lot of good experience to have in that chapter. All right, first debatable one here. Ross. Did y'all use Ross?
Bad. The worst, even.
Yeah, so Ross is the first of a kind of a recurring gimmick in the series called trainee units, where they are intentionally very, very bad, and they have a special class that like isn't accessible by other characters. And the idea is they have more levels to grow, so if you take the time to level them up, they can get really good. Another good example from Awakening you might be familiar with, Craig, is Donald, the villager guy.
The one with the pot on his head, right?
The pot on his head, yeah. So they, bad starting stats, high potential is the gimmick of these guys. So
I never
always
used
use
him
Ross.
either, so.
I love using Ross. He's a character I use pretty much every run because I like making him level up a bunch and kill shit. But
yeah, you're saying you can make him a pirate, right?
You can make him a pirate, and he can
which
walk
is
on
kind of
water and then
fun.
turn into a berserker. And he's the only pirate you can get in the game. You get another berserker, but he's the only pirate you can get.
Yeah, because I was thinking that when I was playing 7 last night, I was like, man, I don't remember there being a single recruitable pirate in that game, and it's because I didn't use that bad bitch Ross. I missed out.
Yep. But then we have his Poppy Garcia.
Garcia, my guy!
Yeah.
Dude, Garcia, thick and thin, I'm telling you. That dude always came in clutch. His stats were amazing. Every time I leveled him up, it was like max growth stats. I got super lucky with him. He was incredible for me. He's like great up there with Seth for me.
Garcia was good. I used him throughout the game.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Did y'all make him a hero or a warrior?
Warrior.
Warrior.
It felt more fitting.
Warrior's more fun, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Naomi, the archer, your first archer.
Let me see. Oh yeah, her. I liked her, but she got replaced with Innes once I got him because he's just better in every possible way. So even though I liked her character, she became useless, unfortunately.
Yeah, I liked having her and like Coleman. I was going for like all their support dialogue, whatever shits. But then, yeah, she just got replaced eventually.
Also, her growth sucks. I felt like she leveled up super slow, and when she did level up, it was almost nothing. So as much as I wanted to keep her around, it felt like I was hindering myself doing that.
Yeah, so that's a fun. We didn't mention that. Did y'all look up for people listening? In Fire Emblem, the way it works when you level up, you have a random chance for a stat to go up, and every character has a growth rate. Did y'all look at growth rates of characters when you were playing, or did y'all just raw dog it?
I always raw dog it. I've actually never looked into it. I just kind of notice over time. I'm like, either this person is barely moving or they're moving a lot, kind of.
Because it can really shape your run. Like, it's just completely random if you get a good run with somebody or not. But all right, I realize that we have a lot of characters here, so let's go through this list. Good, bad.
Hey, you're good. I'm having fun.
Good,
Take
bad.
your time. This is your show right now. By all means.
If y'all are good with the pace of this, we have more characters. We can keep doing this.
This is the Zach show right now. So live your dream.
Your first thief.
I think I used him in like maybe one map where there was a lot of treasure, and other than that, not big on the thief characters. I never really used them much in Fire Emblem. Not one of my least favorite classes overall, honestly.
I use them quite a bit just to keep opening doors and shit. And I was
That's
like,
fair.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll admit that's one of my faults with Fire Emblem, especially the older games, is I usually don't go for the treasure because I feel like the risk reward is usually not equal. Like usually I feel like the reward is good, but not good enough to potentially lose or have to restart or try multiple times. So
yeah, the completionist in me was like, I need that chest. It's sitting.
Oh,
there.
I get it, but then you open it sometimes and it's like, an iron bow, and you're like, fuck, man, I have 10 of those. Like,
so I'm with Tyler. I'm all about the getting all the chests, and for me, it's a fun added challenges because normally the thieves are bad combat wise, so they're kind of a detriment on your army if you choose to deploy them. But trying to race the other thieves to all the chests and just knowing I got them is always a fun little challenge to me. This game's weird. You start out with a thief, and thieves have to use a lockpick, which is a limited use item, but then you can promote them into a rogue, which gives you like unlimited lockpicks, basically. But you also just like recruit a rogue halfway through the game. So it's like, it makes Colm feel a little weird. It's like, why should I put effort into him becoming a rogue if I'm just going to get one?
I feel like that's one of the biggest problems with this game. Is you get a lot of just pre-promoted units about midway through, and then you're hindering yourself if you don't dump the people you've been investing all this time into because you just get better versions of units you already have.
And it's like, the way I look at it is, if you get a pre-promoted unit in the later game for a class you're not really taking advantage of, like, for example, Dazla, he's a berserker you get later in the game. He's pretty good, I guess. He's high attack, he uses axes. If you don't have one of those yet, he's a good thing to put on your team. But if you're using Garcia a lot, Garcia is probably going to be better than Dazla. So I always look at the end game fill-in characters as like pieces to fill in your army. If you're really leaning into a character, they'll probably be better than their replacements later in the game. But it depends on how much you use a certain character.
That's a valid viewpoint. I get what you mean.
But Colm, you do get like an objectively better rogue. So I always try to make Colm an assassin, would just be fun, but I
Mix it
rarely
up.
actually use Golem. Archer, you get a monk. Archer, light magic. Y'all use Archer.
Archer.
He's a redhead.
Yeah.
Oh
You
yeah,
gain like
yeah. I did not use him because I felt like honestly I just said I didn't need it. I already had loot and she was doing good, and then by the time or no, I was using loot and archer, but then once I got what's his name? Sele? Is that how you say it?
Yep.
Once I got
Yep.
him, he got put to the sidelines just because he was already promoted.
Yeah, Tele was really good. Archer really helped me on what chapter was it? I think it was 15 though. With those dragons, he was kind of just taking them out. That was good.
So what can make Archer good in this game is the bishop class. So he can promote into the bishop class. And what that does is this game is really heavy on monster classes.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing like half the game is human enemies, half the game is probably monster enemies. And the bishop class makes all light magic super effective to monsters. So if you're on a monster map with a bishop, maybe Archer, he can basically just one shot everything, and that can make him really useful for late game stuff. But he's light magic is normally pretty weak, so he's kind of a hindrance unless you're fighting him against monsters, really.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So very situational character, but good in those said situations.
Yep. And then we have your next magic character, Loot, who uses anima magic.
Loot to the fucking end, baby. Loot was one of my main girls, so very good. And honestly, like we said, Glass Cannon, she was kind of a a hindrance at times, but I felt like she hit real strong. So, and once I promoted her to Mage Knight, just being able to go the distance with her really made a big difference. So,
Yep.
and I'm kind of a sucker for like the Mage Apprentice characters in Fire Emblem. That's one of my more favorite tropes of characters in these games.
And y'all might have noticed in the desert chapter, magic characters do not take a movement penalty. In
Yeah, I
desert
did
chapters.
notice that. That was very useful. So,
That makes them very good for the sand chapters.
mhm.
All right, we got your second healer, Natasha. Craig, you already said she died.
R.I.P. Natasha. She didn't make it very far. Pretty early on into the game, she died, and I remember I was kind of sad about it because, I was using her and Molder just because something about Molder the Boulder, I couldn't let him go. Like I'm telling
Hell
you. But Natasha didn't make it, so I couldn't tell you if she gets good or not. I guess I'll go with a don't care on that one.
I mean, I kept her mainly until I got fuck's her name.
Larchelle, Rachel,
Yeah,
whatever her name is.
yeah, because healer on a horse
Mm-hmm.
definitely a lot
Yep.
better, moves a lot more.
Yep. Yeah, so Natasha's same book as Molder and partly same thing as Archer. If you can get them to the bishop class, they become really good. But both Molder and Natasha slow to level up because you only get experience through healing in this game. I think you get like
You get
10
10
per
experience,
heal.
so
So it's like you got to heal 10 people to level up one time. Basically, you got to heal 100 people to get to a promotable
which
level.
you might not even need to do within an entire playthrough.
Yeah, so you really got to be persistent if you want to level them up.
Like heal when they have 1 HP
Literally, like
gone. Yeah.
at the detriment of your resources, you have to go heal, like just to get a use off.
Mm-hmm. It's tough.
But some higher level stabs, I think, give higher experience. I don't know for sure, but all right. Another one that Craig you said died. Joshua. Tyler, did you use Joshua? You said you made him a swordmaster.
I used him. Yeah, I liked him. I fucked with him.
Yes,
Yeah,
swordmaster's
Joshua.
cool.
Killed himself 3 times, and then I just moved on. I was like,
It was good. Felt bad for him when his mom died.
Yep.
was his
But,
mom the queen with red hair? I'm assuming. Okay, yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
Joshua is like the secret prince of that country. So, Tyler, I always like to make Joshua swordmaster as well. Swordsmasters get like an inherent, like I think it's like 15 or I think it's 15% increased critical hit rate, and then you combine that with a killing edge, and then you can get like critical hit rates like in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah,
So
he
it's
was
lots
good.
of fun. And then we have our second lord, Ephraim. Did y'all prefer Ephraim or Erica from a character's perspective, or a gameplay perspective? What's y'all's take on the twins?
I think that as you know, as twins, they make me uncomfortable. They have a big Ross and Monica from Friends season 1 vibe going on, where they're just a little too close and cuddly. Uh, but as characters, like I said, I wanted to like Erica, but she was kind of a fucking idiot and stupid. But
they
she
do
was
kind
great.
of really lean into like the Erica's like the ditzy like
and then Ephraim is like super serious and
like he's the hero. Yeah, they kind of lean into that a little bit too.
So
much.
I think they were a little extreme on both ends for that. But you know, honestly, just between gameplay wise and I think design wise, I think they have some of the best designs of any Lord in the series. So I'm gonna give him a good as well. They're just cool characters, like right design ways, the weapons they use, their combat animations, their sprites look great. So
I love his critical hit where he starts spinning the lance over his head.
It's really cool.
Yeah,
That was pretty cool.
And they both become just absolute units once they promote. So like they're already good, and then they just get like unbelievably better. So
Not quite Seth, but they get there.
yeah, my Erica is definitely the stronger one, just because I dumped all the stat items into her. But my Ephraim was still really good too.
they also get a lot of help with special weapons that only they can use. So both of them start with a weapon. So Erica starts with the rapier. Rapier is a staple in Fire Emblem games. Basically, all of your opening lords will start with a rapier. It's effective against horses and knights. It's basically making it to where like your weak sword unit can still protect themselves against like the tougher units. So Erica gets the rapier.
Oh no, sorry. I was just gonna say, even Erica, when she's pretty much totally maxed out, she still takes a lot of damage, but she gives a lot of damage too. But her defense is never very high. Ephraim's is he could definitely take a hit better than she can.
For sure. And Ephraim gets the I forget what it's called, the Regan Fletch or something. It's some weird like
Regan Leaf.
Regan Leaf, yeah, Regan Leaf. It's the same thing. It does effective damage to horses and knights. So they both get like bonuses to start with, and then their ending weapons, their super weapons. Basically, all of the holy weapons in these games, they give stat buffs, and both of theirs give attack +5. So these do a shit ton of damage. Which they get a lot of favoritism, but they're the main characters, so it kind of makes sense. All right, then we got our Christmas calves. In these games, you often are started with a red and green character early in the game, and these are Cavaliers in this game, Ford and Kyle. Did you use either Ford or Kyle?
Actually, I did use Kyle a decent amount. I liked him more than Ford. Not for really any particular reason. Oh no, I used Ford too. I see he's in here now. Ford is the one I lied. I had them mixed up. Ford is the one that I promoted to a great knight. And then Kyle was not promoted, but he was level 13, so still got a good amount of use out of him. But they were probably the first two to get put to the sidelines, depending on my unit limit for the map. Just because all of my other mounted units were stronger overall.
I think I was the opposite. I used Kyle more than Ford. But no particular reason. I just started using Kyle, and I was like, oh, he's all right. So I just started using Kyle more. Right.
They kind of touch on in the story, but not really a whole lot, is Ford and Franz are brothers. I don't know if y'all ever noticed that.
No, I didn't actually. That's funny.
They can talk to each other, and there's like a nice moment where they reunite, and Franz is like, I've been trained to be just like Seth, and Ford's like, not like me? And he's like, no, just like Seth. It's kind of funny.
I will say, I don't want to go off topic. We could bring it up after this section of the conversation, but I didn't do any support conversations, so I want you to touch on those a little bit later once we get through this part.
Yeah. Next up is Orson. He's kind of a weird character. He betrays you in the story, but he joins you one chapter. Since I know he betrays you after playing this game several times, I immediately just trade all of his items off. I take his silver sword. And I
very smart.
And I let him do whatever. I don't care what he does because you don't get to play as him.
No, that's valid.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have Tana, your next Peg Knight, the blue-haired one.
I did not use her a single time, so
yep.
I love her design. I think she's one of the best looking characters in the game. I like the like weird navy blue hair. I just think it looks really cool, especially on the sprite work and the art style of the game on the Game Boy Advance. It has like a really cool muted color, the way it's layered and everything. I know it sounds weird to fix it on the hair, but I just thought it looked really cool. But I never used her just because By the time you get her, you're kind of limited to like maybe like 10 to 12 units per map, and I was already committed to Vanessa, so.
Same.
Yep. That's the struggle with her. Is you get her, and if you play Ephraim route, you get her in a literal cage with no weapons.
Oh shit.
And it's like at the end of the chapter, so she's like level 1 with no weapons, and you've already probably been using Vanessa, so it's like, she can be good if you use her like many characters, but
yeah, I've been told from what I read online, she's one of the ones that can become the most OP if you invest in her as well, kind of like a Ross. So,
well, speaking of OP, if you invest in them, here's a meme character among the fan base. Maybe some people say she's awful, some people say she's good. Amelia. Do either of y'all use Amelia?
Amelia. I'm like, do I even have Amelia?
she's an enemy character you have to recruit, and she's a Ross-like. She's a trainee unit. She's level 1 Lance. She's like, you get her in like chapter 9 of I think Erica route, or chapter 13 of Ephraim route, I think. So she's like a mid-game character that comes like level 1, and she has terrible stats.
Oh yeah, I fucking folded her like a folding chair. She died.
She died. Well, mine didn't die.
I killed her ass. I remember literally I was just attacking, and sometimes you get in the zone, you don't even look at who you're really fighting, and I just killed her, and I was like, oh well.
You slaughtered a child, is what you're saying.
I was like, I got enough Lance units, it's fine.
How did you recruit Amelia?
I recruited her. I didn't use her though.
Okay, I appreciate that, Tyler. So she's fun because she can become the only like girl paladin in the game.
Oh,
and
okay,
there's a cool sprite work. Her helmet looks cool, and she has a ponytail.
That's fun.
But she looks like a pink Seth with a ponytail. It's kind of funny. And she's also the other general you can get if you go the general route. You can make her a general.
That's kind of cool.
Did she get as crazy good as Seth or no?
Well, yeah, because the gimmick with these characters is they just have like an extra 10 levels to level up. So it's all luck based, but imagine if you had 10 good level ups, you could have a character that has really good stats. But the downside is like high investment, high risk.
Yeah. Is
it worth it?
Mm-hmm.
But, I'll touch a little bit more on Ross, Amelia, and Ewan at the end of this.
Sure.
Innes, the sniper.
He was one of my goats. I used him, and once I got him, I used him every single map. I'm a big fan of archer units actually in Fire Emblem. I usually like that. That's so funny. Yeah, the opposite. I usually have 2 or 3 on my team if I have the room for it. I don't know what it is. I've always been a big fan of the archer units because I feel like once you get the high enough levels and you get them, the good bows, they just cream people from far away. Especially if it's another you're fighting. You put like say Erica to get somebody, and then you put especially I guess for the best way to put this is like when you're fighting bosses and you just kind of slowly are picking at them. I love using the archers for stuff like that. So
yeah, he definitely replaced what's her name when I got him. Yeah, for sure, because he was just the overall better unit in my eyes.
Exactly. The one game I'll use archers in is Echoes, because if you have a high level, like a max promotion level archer in that game, they can use like 5 range bows, and it's super broken. You can just shoot at any distance, so it's super broken.
That's awesome. I love that.
But all right, here's one of my favorites. I use pretty much every run because he's just a solid character. Garrick. He's like the headband hero guy.
Yes, he was very good. I liked him a lot. He could hit hard and take hard hits. I didn't promote him, but I got him to level 14. I'm not sure if you can promote him. Can you? He's mercenary. Yep. So I could have, but I didn't.
A hero or a ranger.
Yeah, he was a good one. I used him from beginning to end once I got him as well.
Tyler?
I used him quite a bit. Never. I don't think I promoted him either. Not that I remember. But
he's interesting because he basically starts at level 10 with a promotion item, so you can promote him immediately into a hero or a ranger, which is just like a bow horseman with a sword. I always go hero because I think hero's cooler. But I use Garrett pretty much every run, and he ends up being one of the better characters for me.
Yeah, I should have probably just promoted people once I could, but I always try to wait till they're at least 15, because I feel like then you get more out of it. Because if you wait till 20, it's almost too late, and it feels like it wasn't worth waiting. So I feel like 15 is kind of like the good middle ground, because it's literally in between max level and minimum of when you could do it.
Balance to it. Because like if you're not going to level them up to 2020, you might as well promote them earlier to get the bonus stats from promotion. Because if you're not going to get them to the highest rank max level, it doesn't matter if you level them up or promoted a couple levels early.
That's also
you're
true.
not going to get those levels anyway.
Makes sense.
I like to try to get to 20 just as like a challenge before I promote people, but that's just how I play the games. Tethys, we talked about her, the dancer. Y'all use Tethys?
I didn't use her till late game, but once I started using her, I was like, man, I should have done this from the minute I got her. I should have kept her around.
Yeah, her character's weird. She's like I don't know if she's just like a foreign dancer and she's just traveling with Garrick for some reason. I don't know if there's implications behind that or what, if they're just buddies or what. Fun thing about Tethys, if you visit the house, I think it's chapter 5, the one with Joshua, she's the one that gives you the... No, is it? She's in one of the houses in the early games that gives you a stat boost.
You're right. That's funny.
Yeah. So.
Can't wait for you to bring up her brother.
Her brother?
Doesn't she have a brother or someone? Isn't it like the red-haired mage that you can get?
I don't know if they're brothers. They might be brothers. He might be her brother.
I thought that they were siblings for some reason, but yeah,
they very well might be. I guess
his ass died real fast.
Yeah. Are you talking about Ewan?
I think that's his name. Yeah,
the little boy.
Yeah, he's like Ross. As soon as I recruited him, he died, and I was like, well, then you're clearly not good enough to be in my army, so you're staying dead.
So Ewan is the last of the trainee units you get in the game. He's level 1, and you get him at like level or like chapter 12 or something like that. You're like halfway through the game, and he's a level 1 mage with like 4 attack, and
he's terrible.
You have to go out of your way to grind him up, but he has some very interesting possibilities with what you can turn him into. Notably, he is one of 2 characters that can be a summoner class. I don't know if y'all had anyone that made that class, but
not in this game, no.
Basically, what that class can do is it's a dark magic class, and they can summon every turn a new like disposable unit. So you can just summon a little like skeleton to go fight people for you. And
that sounds like it'd be super useful in the game.
Yep. Marissa. Either of y'all use Marissa? She's the other Myrmidon you get. Purple hair Myrmidon.
No, I did not ever get her.
You probably killed her.
Probably.
It sounds like. But she's a Myrmidon that shows up like 5 or 6 chapters after Joshua, and by that point, if you're using Joshua, he's just going to be objectively better. I never really used Marissa for that reason, but she can become a good sword master like Joshua if you choose to.
I swear I don't even remember seeing her. That's so funny.
She's an enemy unit also that you have to talk to. So
yeah. See, I feel like this game is a little tough about telling you who to talk to with who sometimes too when it comes to recruiting people.
I mean that's the obviously when you see a character with a character portrait, you're like, okay, I should probably talk to them with someone. Yeah. But yeah, who to talk to them with is not always super clear.
Yeah. And sometimes it's easy to kill these characters too. So.
Yep.
Because they'll just run into somebody and get themselves killed.
Yep. Yeah. Go up to Seth and try to be a hero.
I'm gonna get you. Miss.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's like approaching fucking God with a stick. You're like, I'm gonna get your ass. They sneezes on you and you cease to exist.
Then we got La Rochelle, La Rachel, however you say it. I don't know. It's a very weird pronounced name. Name.
I think, like, as a unit, she kind of sucks, but her character and personality are so great that she gets, like, a Seth level from me. Because she's just, like, this stupid, bubbly, fun character. And she just said... I remember her saying a lot of stuff that was cracking me up. So...
Yep.
She's very funny and well-written.
I don't know about Seth level, but, I mean, she up there. I don't know about Seth level. Seth's God.
Dude, I'm telling you, my Seth characters are probably Seth, Vanessa, Garcia... and La Rachel. Those are probably like my 4 favorite characters in the game.
Did you end up promoting La Rachel to where you could use magic
because
with her?
she didn't get enough heals in.
Yeah, so
but I always kept her in the back pocket.
Yeah, so she's the only character that can become a Valkyrie, which is she's just a light magic healer. But it's on that horseback and it's very good. But
yeah, very good unit.
It's a tough thing to get her up there for sure. And she's accompanied by her bodyguard. Dazla, the berserker, big old Dazla, the big green mustache.
I did like him. I didn't use him
Yep.
just because I felt like I already had so many axe units that I enjoyed using with Garcia, and there was someone else. But I did like Dazla as a character. He was also very quirky and kind of funny when you get introduced to him in that one map where you're like going through the... I forget what... Is it like a castle or like a big house or something with all the fog?
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but yeah, fog fort thing. Yeah.
But yeah, I did like Dazla as a character. He was also very entertaining.
Yeah, I'd give him a good. I used him a couple. Like he wasn't on my main thing, but I used him a couple times. It's good.
Here's a character y'all both said y'all used. One of the better characters of the game. That's Sayla. I say Sayla. I don't know how you say it, but
yeah, Sayla is kind of ridiculous, especially when you give him like Excalibur and Hellfire. He's just creaming everything, and the fact that you could use him to heal as well. Honestly made it to where I didn't even need LaRachel if I didn't want to, but I just kind of kept her around because I liked her as a character. But yeah, Sayla he was definitely like one of my best units to the very end of the game.
Yeah, he was definitely up there, and I don't know if it's Sayla or I also have one of my dad's friends' name is like that, and it's Soleil. So I don't know.
It might be Soleil.
Could be Soleil. Soleil. Sala, whatever the hell we're saying. I don't
Slay.
Yeah, like mid late game Sage that shows up with good stats and can heal and can just plug into your army real well. He's always a very good option to have. Getting the last few here. Cormag. Did either of y'all recruit Cormag, the Wyvern Rider?
Cormag. Definitely not. That's definitely something I felt like was missing from my army is I had no Wyvern Riders, so...
Yeah, so he's an enemy character. He's like fighting for the enemy army, and you convince him to fight with you with either Dusel or Tana. So
Dusel.
Cormag. Yep. Cormag's pretty good. Then we have Rennick. I already mentioned Rennick. He's the replacement rogue, the one that just shows up and he can already open chests and stuff without having to use lockpicks. I think he's a good like utility character, but combat wise, whatever.
Yeah, I didn't use him.
I didn't. Yeah, I never had him either.
So fun thing with Rennick, you can recruit him with two characters. Well, technically three. Your Lord, so Erica or Ephraim, one of those two, or LaRachel. So if you're talking with LaRachel, you just convince him to join you. Rennick just joins you because he likes LaRachel, whatever. But if you try to recruit him with Erica or Ephraim, you have to give him 10,000 gold.
That's right, because he's the one taking all the chests in that one map, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember he was a pain to get to, so that's why I didn't even try.
Yep. He's really tough to get to in Ephraim's route. He spawns in enemy territory at the top of the map, and he's basically running through, and he's going to take the chest and leave, and you have to like blitz to get to him.
God, that sounds horrible.
Yep. Then we have Dusel, the Great Knight.
Dusel. So here's what happened to my Dusel. Is the chapter after you recruit him, he had a devil axe, which I didn't know that there was any implications to the devil axe. I just thought it was a really good weapon. So he was using the devil axe on every enemy as soon as I got the devil axe, and he critical hits somebody and kills himself, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And of course it was against the boss of the next map, and I was like, well, I don't know if I want to do this again. And then it's funny because I like to read up a lot on the games I'm playing online while I'm playing them. And it's funny because I was looking up like character discussions on Dusel, and everyone was like, yeah, he's like Seth, he's basically indestructible. And I was like, I killed the indestructible, one of the indestructible best units of the game by killing himself.
I kept him, dude. I needed him.
Yeah, I was planning on using Dusel to the end because I was like, man, this guy's great, when you get him in the sand chapter. And yeah, he critical hitted himself with a devil axe, so... Oops.
In the story, I think I'm trying to remember this correctly. There's three generals in the army, the Renace army, and it's Seth, Orson who betrays you, and then Dusel's the other one. So Dusel and Seth are both very good.
But yeah, the devil axe, for those that don't know, it has some sort of chance. I don't know the exact statistics where you'll hit yourself instead of hitting the enemy. I don't think the game tells you that though, so I didn't know.
I think you can read the item description. It just says something ominous.
I literally just picked it up and I was like, wow, this has great stats.
Yeah,
Nice.
High damage, high hit. Anyone can use it. It's an E rank weapon, which means like any axe user can use it.
So funny.
But it has it's 31% minus your luck stat chance to reverse on you. So
So I
with
played
high luck,
myself.
with high luck, it can be really good, but it's always a gamble.
Played myself.
And then we have Noel, the one dark magic user you get in this game, unless you make you a dark magic user.
Very situational. I felt like nothing was really weak to dark magic in this game, honestly. Almost nothing. I thought almost every time I tried to use him against anybody, it was pretty minimal damage. So I ended up not using him, but I did keep him around for the high the high limit maps where you could use a lot of characters, just because I figured he might come in clutch, but I ended up almost never using him.
Same, I didn't really use him. I can't speak much on him.
Because I do like the dark magic units usually in Fire Emblem games. Usually there's some of the fun, interesting, edgy, funny characters, but he just wasn't very useful.
Yeah, so Noel, stat-wise, is nothing to write home about, but he does have a few gimmicks. So I already mentioned the Summoner class. He's the one person that becomes Summoner other than Ewan, if you choose to go that route. But you can summon, infinite number of skeletons to go fight on your behalf, which can save you. It can be used to take aggression away from certain enemies if you don't want to get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And also, Dark just has some fun spells in the game. So there's one called Nosferatu. I don't know if you ever saw that spell.
Yes.
You get half your health back for the damage you do, so that can be really good. And there's
Very
also
useful.
a really broken one called Luna. What Luna does is it ignores enemy defense. So if you max out Noel's attack and he has 30 magic, no matter how much resistance an enemy has, you'll just do 30 damage to them.
How funny.
So
right now, my Noel, right before Chapter 20, he's carrying Luna, Flux, and Nosferatu, and I felt like still, maybe, I guess I had to build him up more, but it wasn't doing much for me. So.
Yeah, stat-wise, he's not anything impressive, but if you use him enough to get him, he can be pretty useful.
So.
All right, we have two characters left.
All right.
Mir, I don't know how you say it. The Manakete.
Very useful. Another glass cannon, but the Dragonstone is just insanely overpowered, so definitely used her. But I didn't use her a lot. My Dragonstone, by the end of the game, still has 43 uses. So it's like, I used her super situationally because I was afraid of either losing her or wasting it. I probably could have used it a lot more than I did.
Well,
so.
you see, you can use her a lot more when you got rewind, but
There you go.
when you have some alternate timeline shenanigans up in
I
here.
played the man's way. No rewinds, no save states.
Oh,
I was raw dogging it. If I lost the character, I had to start over.
I don't know what you're talking about. I played the whole thing through. Just no one died. I'm just that good.
Oh yeah, Tyler. So Tyler, you use Mer more then? You used Mer
I
a good
used
bit?
her more. She was pretty good. Glass cannon, but when she would get hurt, just somehow ended up in another alternate universe where still alive, still kicking.
Her animations look sick too, of her turning into the dragon and blasting the fire. So
Yeah.
the big sprites in the Game Boy Advance Fire Emblem games look so fucking cool.
I missed some of the sprites in like the middle portion of my playthrough because I turned that shit off so I can get through this game faster. Because I was like, I'm not gonna beat this in time. So
honestly, I do that.
To
Sorry, I was gonna say I do that in every Fire Emblem. Like I start out, I turn it off, and then towards the end, when there's cool bosses, I turn it back on. But
yeah, when I got towards the end, I was like, I got some time. I think I could do it. So I turned it back on just so I could see all the cool shit. But I was just running up to people, just watching them go bloop, bloop. So I was doing for a good probably 8 through 15 or something like that. I just stopped.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's nice about the newer Fire Emblem games is if you hold down A, it just plays the animations at time 2 speed, so you can still see them, but not have to sit through it for a couple seconds.
So Mer's an interesting one for me. She's very good because the Dragonstone is very good, and she can do effective damage to some high-level monsters. But also she has a very limited. She can only use the Dragonstone, and when it breaks, she's useless. It's you want to really preserve those uses. It's a balance between preserving the uses and actually getting use out of her. But she levels up very fast, and the Dragonstone gives her a bunch of stats. So if you can get her high level, she can be a useful asset for the last couple boss monsters in the game.
Yeah, and I definitely used her more on the last chapter 21 and 22, but I couldn't tell you just because my save is from before that.
And then the last character you get feels kind of random. It's a very late chapter, 17. You get Cyrene, a Falco Knight.
Yeah, she's
You know?
Vanessa's sister.
Yep.
She was bait for me, and that's all I have to say. So she was sacrificed for the greater good of the rest of my army. No attachment to her. I was like, I already have Vanessa. She's already my goat. I don't need you. You're gonna distract some enemies, and then I'm gonna fly everyone else to the final boss. That's pretty much what I used her for.
I hadn't really used her, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, so cool thing about them, Cyrene, Tana, and Vanessa, you can do the triangle attack. Basically, if you put an enemy in the middle of them in a triangle, they'll do a special animation, special critical hit, and it'll basically just kill anything. Um, so
Oh,
Which is really cool, yeah.
there's triangle attacks in a lot of the games. With it's typically it was originally and typically Falcon Knights that can do it, but they've done it with other classes also.
And as far as I know, I don't know if any of the games actually tell you about that, so I think it's kind of like a fun
It's
little
kind of a
secret.
secret. It's a secret gimmick. Yeah.
I didn't even know that, and I played like a lot of Fire.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, so the
Damn.
original one is the three sisters. I forget their names. The green haired, the blue haired, the pink haired Falcon Knights. They can do that, and then it's kind of a trend they kept going through all the games.
It's neat.
That's cool.
So I said that's all the characters, but there is post game characters. There are post game characters you can get. So the way this works in this game, if you beat the game, you can go back to, you can you can enter the world map in a post game state, which is called Creature Campaign Mode. And what this is fun for is you can go back to old maps and fight monsters there if there's happens to be random monsters spawning, or you can fight the two dungeons. There's two dungeons that you can use either during the game to grind or in post game to try to get rewards and just challenge yourself. So it's the Tower of Volney, which unlocks at your first route split, like Chapter 9. It's the early game grinding spot, the tower. And there's the Lagdo Ruins, which you get at the very end of the game. It's much tougher, harder challenge, high level stuff. So if you do these things in the post game, clearing certain floors will unlock characters for you. So for Tower of Volney, clearing the third floor, you get Kalach, the hero from Chapter 15, to join your army. If you clear the sixth floor, you get Orson, the paladin that betrayed you. Reeve, the fucked up looking bishop monster man that is evil. If you kill 200 monsters or more in the same tower run, you get Reeve. If you clear the eighth floor, which is the last floor of the Tower of Volney, you get Ismare, Swordmaster. That's Joshua's mom that dies, the red-haired lady.
That's cool.
Oh.
Yep. If you clear the tower 3 times, you get Selena. She's the Mage Knight, the blonde lady that she's the one I think in. Is she the one in chapter? No, she's in chapter 13.
Yeah.
I don't know where you fight her in Erica's route.
I was gonna say, do you even fight her? I didn't remember. I remember her, but I don't remember fighting her.
You fight her in Ephraim's route. Maybe it's only in Ephraim's route where you fight her.
Okay.
We unlock her if you beat the tower 3 times. And then for the Lagdo Ruins, 5th floor, if you beat it, you get Glenn, which is Cormag's brother. Does that mean anything to y'all? Cormag's brother, Glenn?
Definitely not.
He's one of the Wyvern riders. Is in the story. He's one of the henchmen guys.
That's funny.
Clearing 200 monsters or more in the same run, you get Hayden, who is the lord of the early game place you. Innes's dad, the guy you get in the early game who helps you out and gives you money. He's a ranger.
How funny.
7th floor, you get Valter, which is the guy who crits Seth at the beginning of the game and almost kills him, and then he's the chapter 15 boss. If you clear the Lagdo Ruins, you get Fado, who is your father that dies in the first chapter. Tyler, this is what I thought you were saying when canonically the first person to die. I thought maybe it would be him, because you can technically recruit him if you beat the post-game dungeon, and funny. He does die at the very beginning. So he's a general. He's very good. But then the ultimate reward, if you beat the Lagdo Ruins 3 times, you do unlock Leon. He's the only necromancer you can get, and he comes with his unbreakable, I think it's called the Glefnir tomb. So it's the only weapon in the game you can get through normal means that is unbreakable. It's very strong, and necromancer is just a cool class. So
have you done the whole thing? I mean, I'm sure you probably have, but
I've beaten the Lagdo Ruins. I've never beaten it 3 times. So I plan to do that on the Switch with save states and rewinds, because the way that the tower and the ruins work is this thing's 10 floors. So the way it works is it's 10 chapters in a row, and if you lose at any point, you have to start the whole thing over. So it's basically beat 10 chapters in a row of increasing difficulty and gimmicks and don't lose a single time. And it's like, that's just too hard to do. I've done it one time. I've never done it 3 times in a run. I'm going to cheese my way through it and get Leon eventually.
With
And
with like some of these characters that you get, like for instance Joshua's mom, can you eventually have a support conversation then or no? Just
No,
doesn't work?
they're just dead, like reimagined versions
Okay.
again. You
mhm.
know.
I was just wondering like,
They're just
like
post game. They're post game trophies,
oh good.
basically.
Yeah, because it's kind of cool, but it's also kind of like whatever, because you get these characters and the game's already over. So, but it's still fun. I guess it's something extra since it's a pretty breezy playthrough
Hey,
for the most part.
it's something cool that games don't do no more, bro.
No, that's fair.
Yep,
It's like,
Because
oh, you
I
gotta wait for DLC or some shit like that.
Yeah,
Like,
because this was
exactly.
definitely my shortest Fire Emblem experience. I checked my playtime afterwards, because shout out to the 3DS having the best playtime counter of any console of all time.
Oh, good. It's
It
so
took
good.
me about 17 and a half hours to beat the game. So,
yeah. Which, speaking of that, Zach, real quick, speaking of like runtime, because I was gonna have this as a question in the trivia, but I was looking at the speed running list and whatever. Dude, how do people beat this game in like 1 hour?
oh my god.
Yep.
How?
Seth,
Like,
Seth teleporting,
how do
warping,
you skip that much dialogue and
no
still have
animations, spamming start. You know,
that's wild.
like,
I
dude?
think
I was like, this got to be wrong. I don't know if this is true. I'm not putting this. I was like, I gotta
so.
check
Fire
with
Emblem
that.
speedrunning is an interesting thing to me, but I prefer what are called low turn run counts, and that is what is the lowest number of turns we can beat the game in. And
hmm
people go through like lots of math of like optimizing like um, should I be slower early game but train this one character up so they're better and they save me a turn later game, or should I use this one character and just have It's really fun seeing like people optimize the lowest possible number of turns. And I watched a playthrough this guy did. He played an RNG god plays Fire Emblem 8, and what he did was he optimized the lowest number of turns you could beat the game in, assuming every level up for every character got perfect stat ups. So he basically gimmicked the game to where every level up, every stat went up, and he beat the game in like every chapter was like 2 turns. It was ridiculous
That's
how fast he
insane.
was beating it. It was really fun to watch.
That's
But
great.
yeah. So last
Dude,
thing, I know
like,
we just had a long segment on the characters here. I do want to touch on one more thing with the characters.
hmm
Um, the Ross, Amelia, and Ewan characters.
hmm
Um, so the way they work is they can promote into like one branch or the other, and then the branch can go into another branch of characters. So they have the most like versatility of any characters in the game. Um, but if you beat the game, I think if you beat both routes, what you have to do, you have to beat both Ephraim and Erica route. If you play a third time, you unlock a new class for them to turn into, which is the super recruit or the super trainee. So what this is, instead of Ross going from journeyman to fighter or pirate, you can go from journeyman to journeyman. And Amelia can go from recruit to recruit, and Ewan can go from pupil to pupil. And then when you evolve them again, you can do the third level of journeyman, recruit, and pupil. So
That's cool.
when you get to these super recruit classes, they unlock special like gimmicks. So Ross and Amelia, they can still only use lances and spears, but they gain like a 20% crit boost, like inherent crit boost for them, which makes them really good. And then Ewan is really cool because he becomes a super pupil, and he becomes the only character in the game that can use all 3 types of magic. So he can use light, dark, and anima magic. So it's really cool
That's
to use him
disgusting.
in that. It's a fun reward. Another fun thing like that makes it fun to replay the game in a different way.
hmm
Um, that I can appreciate, but
Yeah, the game definitely rewards you investing time into the characters like heavily.
yep.
But I guess that's probably a big part of why there's a lot of post game and stuff too, so you have that option. And the grinding, of course, so since you could use the tower, which I think my playthrough definitely would have been easier if I did do that. I was just trying to see if I could beat it without grinding, and I did. So
I like to do the tower and the ruins post game, so I'm not like grinding, so to speak, but also I can like beat the dungeons to prove I beat the dungeons, whatever. But
mhm.
um, yeah. Here's another fun fact for y'all. There's a notorious glitch in the game called the monster control glitch.
Mhm.
Um, this glitch has you resetting the game on a certain when the monsters like you have a monster fight you, you have to stand on a certain tile, and then you reset the game at a certain moment, and then you gain when you turn the game back on, instead of being the enemy turn, it's the enemy turn, but you're in control of them. So what this is useful for is you can trade their equipment to your characters. So it sounds dumb, but what you do is you get an enemy with like something called like a sharp fang, like the spiders. They have the sharp fangs, or the claws, or the evil eyes of the eyeball things. And you trade to your characters, and they have good unbreakable weapons to use for the rest of the game. So that's a fun glitch. If you want to save money and like grind out the post game stuff, you can trade. You can use the enemy control glitch to trade good unbreakable weapons to your units.
How funny! I never heard of this.
Damn.
Yeah. The downside is the animations break and the game crashes, so you have to turn off animations when they use them.
That's funny. How
The
bizarre!
game
That's
doesn't know what to
cool.
do. The game doesn't know what to do when you have Ephraim using the sharp fang. It
That's
just
funny.
crashes. So, yeah.
So
Yeah, I love
wanted to
this
ask...
game. I played it a
sorry.
bunch, but I will talk you there, but I wanted to go through it also, though.
No, of course, that was great. You did a good job breaking everything down. You're showing your expertise here. So
For real.
I wanted to ask you about support conversations in this game. Obviously, a staple in the Fire Emblem series. I did not unlock a single support conversation somehow, and I feel like that's another reason why I feel like I played this game wrong somehow, because somehow I didn't have a single support conversation after an entire playthrough. So how does supports work in this game? Am I just stupid? Did I miss something?
Bro. You gotta walk the matching characters. You gotta walk up to the other character and hit talk.
But it's like I know I had characters next to each other that had the option, but or like compatible support conversations, but just I never unlocked any of them, and I guess maybe I just wasn't looking because the talk wasn't highlighted maybe when I was going to attack, but I just totally missed out on the supports in
Depending
this.
on how you play the game, it might never happen, or you might get a bunch of them. What it is a character that has a compatible support conversation with somebody. You have to end your turn with them standing adjacent to each other a certain number of times. I think like 50 times. So when a character like ends their turn next to someone 50 times, say, maybe it's 20, I don't know, it'll unlock a support conversation. And then when you sit next to them again, it'll have the support icon. It's like a green text. And you get like the added dialogue, and you get the support up, and you get the stat ups and all that stuff. But,
So I figured that's how it works because I haven't only played newer Fire Emblems. Path of Radiance, my favorite one. I unlocked plenty of supports playing Path of Radiance, and I figured it was the exact same thing. So I must have just not had the same characters next to each other
they're much
at all, basically, while playing this game and not
they're
realized
much more
it.
lenient to unlock in future games because it is kind of silly. Like they're giving you more dialogue and more character background to experience. And then in the GBA games, they're really weird about like hiding that behind like a grindy, slow process of like ending. Like what a lot of people do is they'll finish a chapter, and before they seize the throne, they'll just end turn 50 times.
Just spam it, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like that's just kind of an annoying thing. But they're better about it in future games. Just it happens more naturally. I think in Path of Radiance Onward, it's just deploying a character a certain amount of times with a character.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, because I said, I unlocked plenty in Path of Radiance, and then obviously in newer Fire Emblems, there's like cues telling you that there's going to be supports or like that their rank's going up with like the little hearts, whether they're paired up or next to each other or whatever. So I guess I just happened to play the game in a weird way where I didn't have anyone next to each other enough, really.
I mean, think about it. Like Ross and Garcia have a support. How many times did you play the game where Ross and Garcia ended a turn next to each other? And it's like, do that 20 times, do that 50 times. Like it's not going to happen sometimes.
How would you say the supports are in this game? Are they pretty good? Are they whatever?
I don't remember. I have not really read the supports in a long time, and like you mentioned, even me, someone who's played the game a dozen times, I have not gotten all the supports, and like because they're just pretty niche, too tedious.
Yeah, it honestly seems like the kind of thing where I hate to be that guy where I'm like, watch a long play. It seems like it'd be better to just look them up instead of actually investing the time in it because you don't really get that much out of it anyway, right?
They can be for stats. The way supports work in these games is everyone has a elemental affinity, and that elemental affinity gives certain stat ups to another character if they're supported with them. So if you really want to get like optimal and optimized, you can use supports to help make certain characters better. But
Cool beans.
there is multiplayer in this game. Do you know that?
I saw that only because Nintendo Switch Online says that you can play with up to more people. I was wondering,
Yep.
can you like actually like fight your armies against each other? Or how does it work?
No, so it's a little different. So in some games they have the multiplayer we can play on a map and like actually play Fire Emblem against each other,
Uh
like
huh.
move your characters around, have fog of war, all that. The way it works in this game is just an arena battle. You make a team of 5 of your units from a save, your 5 best units, and you just fight against. Basically, you enter an arena and you just like click, I want to attack that guy, and
Huh.
you fight 5 on 5. It can go up to
Interesting.
four players, so you can do 5 on 5 on 5 on 5.
How funny.
Which I've never experienced. And with the way NSO works, I don't think we'd ever be able to actually do that because I think you're entering the state. Like when you play multiplayer, you're not entering like your save against their save. It's like you're entering their world. Like I don't think you
Mm,
could like put your character against my characters. It would be like my characters against my characters with you playing them.
weird.
Um,
Yeah,
so
because it says there's a multiplayer option on NSO. It's interesting.
yep, yep.
The more you know.
Well, you know. But yeah, I
Yes,
think that's all I got. I think I hit all my high points.
yeah, game kind of blows, but
Yeah, not great.
no, I think for the Fire Emblems that I've played, I think it lands right in the middle for me in terms of the ones
Sure.
I've beaten. I haven't beaten all of them, but because there's a lot of them, and this is one of the series that's like one of my favorite series that I haven't played all of yet, just because it's like I know I like the games, it's just a lot of them and I haven't gotten around to it yet. But this is the sixth Fire Emblem that I've beaten, and it probably lands at like at number 3 or 4. So,
Yeah, understandable.
how about you, Tyler?
Beat Awakening. Hold on, I beat Awakening. I beat Fates. I beat Engage. I beat this one.
It hurts me that you beat Engage, but not Three Houses.
No, I beat Three Houses. That's
Okay,
the other
there
one I
you
was
go.
thinking of. I
Hmm.
only did the one path though. I did Black Eagle, I think it's called,
Yep.
whatever. Yeah,
Edelgard the Goat.
yeah.
It'll go.
Um, yeah. I think that's all I played. I know I started Path of Radiance. I never got far.
Oh, I
And
thought you finished Path of Radiance for some reason.
mm-mm. I know you were like talking it up a whole bunch even before we did this podcast. That's when I started it, but I
So
never went
good.
back and
I
finished
cannot
it.
wait for Path of Radiance to come out. We need to all do Path of Radiance runs together.
No, 100%. I'm telling you,
Yeah, we
I
just got to
want
play on game chat. That's fun.
I want to do that and Radiant Dawn back to back. I know it's a lot of game, but I think that it would be really cool if we could somehow manage that. And then I could finally have played Radiant Dawn, the sequel
Right.
to one of my favorite
this
games of all
rate,
time.
at this rate, we ain't gonna be able to plan it though, because they're just gonna be like, "Oh, Path of Radiance available now," and if so, get on it. So it's gonna be like, "Oh, now
Yep.
we're doing it."
Yep.
True. Zach is going to do a 30-hour live stream, full playthrough of Path of Radiance when it drops.
Yes, I am going to do. I have decided I want to do a long stream the first like Friday or Saturday that it's out. Like I'll sit there and play as long as I can make myself play. I don't think I'm going to do 8 hours, but I'd love to get like 5 or 6 hours. That'd be fun. But
I'll be there for
I
it.
will be there, so.
yeah, I'd love to have y'all on there. That'd be fun.
But yeah, this was a
All right,
good
any
time.
closing thoughts? Yeah,
Try-
any closing thoughts? For you?
I think that, it's weird because like I said, the story was non-existent, and that was kind of disappointing, but it wasn't bad. It was just kind of like generic and forgettable.
Yep.
The two main characters, I thought that they were kind of cookie cutter, but somehow they were still able to make me care about them in a way, probably just because they had really good character designs. I liked a lot of the random units. I think this game has a really good just like cast of characters overall. I think the map design is honestly 50-50. Like I said, there's a lot of hallways, and I can't
Yep.
stand hallways in Fire Emblem just because I feel like they're not fun to maneuver
One
around.
of my least favorite
Um,
is chapter 16, the one where you're taking back your castle.
Yeah,
There's
that one
one spot
sucks.
where you have to go a hallway, like, there's two hallway routes. One is like around this side, where it's a
Yeah.
hallway, and the other one's like going through brush, like around the entire
Yeah.
map. It's like the most obnoxious thing in the world.
But like, despite all the flaws, it's like I still had a great time. And once I got in the rhythm of playing it, probably around like chapter 5 or 6, it's like I couldn't put it down, and I pretty much played it nonstop until then. Like I remember, I was letting you guys know when I was playing it, and it was like all of a sudden it was like I went from like chapter 6 to like chapter 18 like the next day. Like I just binged it like crazy. There's something just about the Fire Emblem formula that even the bad games are still good. It's kind of like, bad pizza's still pizza, so still good.
Yep. Yep.
And they're just very satisfying games to play, and I liked it a lot. And because my brain is stupid, since I saw the credits to the game, I don't want to go back and play Ephraim's maps right now, but I have a save ready for whenever I'm ready to do that. And maybe in a year or so when I'm getting an itch for some Sacred Stones again, I'll go back and do the Ephraim maps just so I could at least feel like I've played all the maps.
There you go.
Tyler?
Yeah, overall it was a great game. I feel like I would have enjoyed it a lot more if I didn't blow through it, because I had to push through this shit. But I do eventually want to go back and do the other route. And I don't know, going through that end game stuff sounds kind of cool. I don't know if I'll do it 3 times, but maybe one day. But that would be kind of neat. But yeah, I mean, I never really thought about like a ranking of Fire Emblem, so I don't know where I'd put it.
What's your favorite as of right now?
Awakening. It was my first one. I kind of just,
Okay, no judgment. I think that people that poo-poo on Awakening are stupid, and I think that their opinion is bad because Awakening is a phenomenal game.
Yep.
Awakening has my favorite music in the series too. Whenever I hear like the overworld music, like when you could choose your map, it makes me want to like go to sleep, like in a good way. Like I'm like like I feel so at peace. The bum 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 bum. It's so good, so good.
But yeah,
Awakening's very good.
So
You've played all the Fates games, Tyler? All 3 of them?
No, I played Birthright.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe.
Oh,
I have all 3 of them because I got that special edition.
You played the worst one.
Yeah, that's the one I played.
Revelations is the true story, but it's also very bad.
It's the worst. The story is terrible, but
the
the final boss in Revelations is pretty sick and memorable. I remember,
cool.
I really like the final boss. And it's just like, if you care about having like a selection of units, I feel like that has to be the game that has the most options of any game. You get so many fucking units.
It's just almost all characters from both games.
Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous.
Do you have the special edition with the Revelations on cart?
I do not. I did not.
That thing came down. It was at like $1,000 when 3DS was.
Yeah, I saw it. Found it this weekend for like $400 or $300. I'll get it one day maybe, but
I pre-ordered mine from GameStop because I wanted to get the little keychains too, so I have those little keychains that came with the pre-order. But I'll always be upset about it because they shipped mine in a bubble mailer, so it has a really crushed corner. Uh-oh. There he is. He froze for a second, but those are the keychains we're talking about.
Let me add it to my list of games to buy one day. Fire Emblem.
Go. So you can talk about it next episode.
Whatever. Fire Emblem Revelations Special Edition.
Yeah, I wish I don't want to poo-poo on that game too much. I don't want to talk about it. I wish they were better, but they're still all right.
They were following Awakening was going to be a tough task, but they did not necessarily hit a home run with that.
I agree. But yeah, that's Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. We have no audience write-ins because I fucked up. I will take full accountability for this. I put the write-in subject as the episode for the next episode, not this episode.
I lied. I don't know why I was thinking they were wrong, but I definitely played Conquest, not Birthright. Looking at
Did you? Okay, Conquest is the best of the 3. So you played the good one.
I was like, wait, hold on, no, because I remember her and stuff. So I was like, yeah, that one.
Conquest is very hard, but it has incredible map design. I think it has some of the best maps in the series.
Conquest is fun.
So, no write-ins. I fucked up. Apologies, everyone. But the next episode going to be about the games we want most in our video game collections. So, if you're also a game collector, please write in.
Fire Emblem Revelations Special Edition.
There you go. If you also want Fire Emblem's Fates Revelations Special Edition, write in. Let us know in the description below. But I think that's going to be it for this episode. Had a good time talking about it. We went very deep. So I hope you guys enjoyed being super nerdy about Fire Emblem with us. I think this is going to be a nicher episode, but the people that are a fan of the series, I think, will also enjoy it. Zach, what else you got planned for your Sunday?
I'm not going to move from this chair probably the entire day. I'm going to play video games. I'm going to maybe work on a YouTube short, and then I'm going to... Yeah, that's it. That's the whole thing. That's a whole day.
Hell yeah. Tyler, what you got planned the rest of your Sunday?
There's just like, I don't know, I might go out with Jonathan. There's this like paranormal circus thing that comes like to the town like every couple months, and it's like a funny type of thing. Like, it's not really horror, but it's a cool little show, and it's like cheap to get in. So I was like, maybe we'll go to it.
Neat.
It's at like 5:30 and 8:30, so I don't know.
Good shit.
Other
Me?
than that, nothing really.
I'm gonna play more Fire Emblem because now I'm on like I said, I'm on a Fire Emblem kick.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna do more Engage or not. I think I'm gonna wait until I just finish 7 because I'm on chapter 19 or 20, so I think I'm at least 2/3 of the way through. So I'm just gonna see that through. I think before I hop between them, because I think if I hop in between 2 different Fire Emblems, I think I'm gonna end up just dropping one of them eventually anyway. So I'm trying to stop that. Want to be able to finish them both. But great episode, fellas. Had a great time talking to y'all. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you share it with your coworker, your grandma, your friend. I'm sure they'd all enjoy it. Next episode is going to be about games we want in the collection. Please write in. Fire Emblem is cool. Thank you for watching. Yes, sir.
If we want to give people a heads up of what the next game they could get a head start on, what is the next game they could get a head start on?
Yes, apologies. So next game-specific episode for 36 going to be Wind Waker. So if you have a GameCube, you have a Wii U, or a Switch 2, perfect time to play it.
I'm starting that shit now. I'm not waiting.
Get ahead.
I'm fucking waiting.
Alrighty, y'all. We will see you all in 2 weeks.
See you then.
Take care.